Stephen Kernahan, which should be a fantastic duel.
So here we go. MCG round 15, live around Australia on Sports AFL. Carlton versus Melbourne. And Allen gets the first tap. Goes to Hopgood. Quickly swings it over his left shoulder. Into the attacking 50 already. And Mr. Reliable, Peter Dean, back there for Carlton.
Dean's picked up Uze there, and that'll be a good test for Uze.
Just a little bit too keen to go to the ball then, Uze, and Dean read it a little bit better.
Brought it towards the members' side and found Ratton. Ratton feinted the handball, got past Newton. Went back, switched play and gave it to Dean again. 2 possessions in the opening minute for the veteran. Doesn't know what to do with it, goes short to Hogg.
Viney and Ratton will be a fantastic duel this day.
Hogg's kick to Pearce in front. The kick was falling short. That was the place to be. Pearce moves it on quickly towards Silvani. Is he going to start up forward the way he did against the West Coast Eagles a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, that was a very good league by Stephen Silvani, and even a better pass. But one interesting matchup as well, Woden picking up Anthony Koutafisi in his 100th game.
He actually led straight up the middle then, I think, Horse, and bent out on the end run.
That's right, it was a very intelligent lead.
Free kick here.
Free kick paid.
And it's going to go to Seacamp, back from suspension for the Demons.
Yeah, against Aaron Hamill there. Just pushed him out of the contest before he got to it.
Viney made position in the pocket.
Interesting matchup midfield. Hopgood's gone to Craig Bradley, which I imagine will be a tagging role.
Brett Lovett to Seacamp, to McDonald on the wing. Inboard to Obst. He goes towards centre half forward and Farmer through his fingers. McKay at the back to mop up.
See the Carlton numbers back there. They got 3 players to 1 in that effort there when the ball went over the back.
Sean Charles tries to bend one around, didn't get it far enough, and it's out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, a bit of pace there by Charles, but ran over the ball. I mean, that's, like I said earlier on, Charles and Farmer are crucial for this forward line, but they can't be looking for those guys as the leading players. They've got to be looking more as the crumbing players.
As a forward playing against Carlton many occasions, you just find that you want to separate their backmen as much as possible. So the flankers should almost start out on the boundary. You saw that when the ball went over the leading Farmer's head then. They just got numbers to it. They're great in support.
Big fly from Murphy. Glenn Lovett at the back. Picked up by McDonald. Left foot kick. Drops in short. Mark taken by Hopgood 40 metres out.
Well, Bradley was right. Got caught out there a little bit. Was back more in the pocket and hadn't picked up Hopgood, who really was playing probably the more dangerous position, and Craig should have picked him up.
It's almost a situation where Bradley might come out in this area and say, well, we're a much better team. I can do my own thing and not have to worry about my man as Hopgood comes in.
That's
not a bad looking kick, Ned.
Yeah, straight through the middle. That's a great start from Melbourne. Like we said, if they can get off a little bit, last few weeks they've struggled the first few kicks and goals, but well done. That's a great start.
It's almost like Bradley might come out on a day like today, and it might take him 10 minutes if Melbourne put, say, 3 or 4 on the board. He might say to himself, well, we're a much better team. We've won 5 more games than Melbourne this year, and I can afford to be the front runner and do all I want, and I don't really have to be responsible for my man. And if he lets him get away like that on a couple of occasions, he could hurt him.
First half hasn't been the problem for Melbourne over the last few weeks. It's been the second half. They kicked the first goals in the first 3 quarters last week, and they have the first goal against Carlton today. Bounce in the centre. Allen with the big fly. Might have put his hand on Stein's shoulder. Comes to Ratton. Hoiks it quickly up towards Glenn Lovett. Umpire said he was interfered with, and he'll take the free kick at centre half back.
Yes, Camporeale going to be very careful with Glenn Lovett. He was a big instigator in Melbourne's good first half performance last week.
Stephen Phoebe at half back. Members side.
He's got Lovett on the move.
Yeah, Diesel can't go with him with the pace there, Derby. It's well and truly off.
Lovett inboards to Viney. Kicks from the wing. Not a good kick. Dean back there on the defensive 50.
Gee, be a good, a brilliant player, a match winner every week, Todd Viney, if he just had very good foot disposal. He just lacks in that area a little bit.
Peter Dean playing in game number 228 this afternoon for the Blues, towards the wing.
Well worked by Lovett.
Manton punched it down from him.
Well, Matton's on David Schwartz. David Schwartz is still in the goal square, so I've said this a couple of weeks, Swarty, you've got to follow him up and put some pressure on them.
One thing about Diesel, his opponent at the moment, Lovett, they'll run Lovett probably for about 15-16 minutes and swap him with maybe Alistair Clarkson off the bench and just keep fresh legs on him for the whole game.
Playing his 100th game, Koutafidis on the wing. Heads up towards half forward. Lovett first back, Camporeale back there with him. And Lovett finds the boundary.
Yeah, Lovett just played the percentages then. Normally you would not try and go inboard, and you just got to try and push it over the boundary line the best way possible without the umpire detecting you did it deliberately.
Safe bet just to give your defenders a chance to man up.
Kernahan and Steins doing the ruck work. Steins just edged Kernahan out. Neats had it for a while.
That's holding the ball, surely.
Umpire said he had no opportunity.
Yes.
Horse, did he get an arm pinned there? He couldn't handle
yeah,
it.
It was a fantastic tackle. I think that's what happened, Dermot. I think he had one arm pinned and he was very lucky not to get pinged.
Kernahan and Steins again. Kernahan possibly the tap. Steins does the roving. 25-metre kick. Koutafides in front. Well done by Woden at the back. Viney under pressure from Ratton. Heads up forward. Charles nudged McKay under the ball. Dean, who started brilliantly. McKay wide. Koutafides. Woden putting the pressure on. Dean again. Hugs the boundary line. Pearce got an awkward bounce. Ball spills over.
That was a good example, Dermot, of the Carlton backline you mentioned before, working very well together. Peter Dean and Andrew McKay, a couple of veterans doing very well then.
Yeah, well spotted, Horse. It ended up a 4-on-4 exercise in the final analysis, but the 4 Carlton players got to the ball quicker than the Melbourne players.
Diesel gets it for Carlton. Greg Williams to the hoots of the crowd. Inside the 50. Kernahan 2 bites. Couldn't quite grab it. Woden appeared to be tripped. Umpire said no.
You find Jimmy Steins actually, Matty Allen's coming down with Jimmy Steins this time, but the last bounce down in the forward line, Allen actually stayed back and formed a bit of a wall.
Anstey getting ready to come on for Carlton. On the attacking 50 for the Blues. Melbourne with the first goal. Neats, high kick to the wing. Good contest by Newton. Koutafides in after it, as we said, playing his 100th game. Sexton, Lovett did well with his body, got to the front spot to Newton. Off to Pyman. Pyman up towards full forward. Schwartz in front. One for the Rovers. McKay. Farmer was clever. Uze wheels around. Snaps on his left foot. It's heading wide. Through for a behind, but well done by the D's. Good pressure.
Pyman was probably might have been a better option there, giving a bit of time and space. He was out back towards the 50-metre area.
From behind the goal, Ned, Melbourne, when they're bringing it in, what's their option taking like?
David's going to the right or to the left, and then one of the smaller guys, Charles or Farmer, make another lead.
Camporelli off, Anstey on.
Melbourne went man-on-man that kick in, very rare in this day and age.
Glenn Lovett looked to have the drop there, but couldn't take the mark. Anstey straight on, gets it to Hickmott. Koutafides, little dribbled kick along the boundary. O'Sullivan keeps it in play. Koutafides linking up with Hickmott. To the wing. Good mark in front by Pearce. Play on.
Tackling well at the moment, Melbourne.
Silvani with that trademark dive, nearly took it. Last time he tried that against the Eagles, he nearly knocked himself out. Steins on the wing. He's got a man running for him. Lovett's got space. To the pocket. Schwartz, big fly. Dean racking up the possessions to Sexton. To the wing, all Melbourne.
So this is where Melbourne have got to capitalise. They're actually winning the game at the moment, albeit by only 1 goal, 1 on the board, but they're actually winning the ball quite well in the centre of the ground. They've got to capitalise going forward.
Yeah, they almost need Neats back here, though, because David says Swarter's just perhaps not giving them enough.
See, the height of Newton there drew that free from Sexton. He's probably not accustomed to playing on people as tall as Newton Sexton, and just put the hand on the shoulder to get a bit of a leverage lift when he jumped then.
Newton went short to Viney. Melbourne's efficiency rate excellent in the early stages. 8 3/4 minutes gone. Short pass. Charles spilled off his chest. Schwartz barges his way through. Snaps from 40 metres. This will bring the house down.
Well done, big fella. He's put it through.
Yeah, I was about to call. He's a good kick in that situation. We saw him in the Brisbane Lions game swing onto the left foot. He loves that situation where he takes the big arc, and I don't think with his weight he's going to take too many sharp arcs now in the continuation of his career, but he takes that big arc and he rarely misses in that situation.
Yeah, now just what I was saying before is if they had Neats down here as well, they'd give them 2 very tall mobile guys up here, or not so much with Swarter, but that was fantastic confidence by David. He did it a few weeks ago when we saw them here on the left footer and put it through, and he's very pumped, the boy now. He's very happy with himself.
I must apologise. I called him Neats there for a second, Schwartzy, so yeah, very good goal.
So the D's have the first 2. It's 2-1-13 and the Blues yet to score. Hot favourites here in this round 15 clash. Bradley about to send them forward again. Switches play. Heads towards Hamill. Tries to barge his way through, but the Melbourne defence doing well. Seacamp dragged down by Hamill. Good second effort.
Yes, Hamill did very well then. Went up and actually did 2 or 3 efforts, which was what all coaches want from their forwards.
Guys, I don't know about you, but look, they've been competitive for 2.5 quarters the last few weeks, Melbourne, but I just get the feeling their tackling is very, very good today, better than the last 2.5 quarters efforts of the previous weeks.
A better start even from the last few weeks today, and like you said, Damien, they've just got to hold it together for 4 quarters.
Allen's tap went to Brett Lovett. His short kick found Sexton just near the centre circle.
The last bounce, Bradley stayed back at the centre and waited to see which way the ball swayed to, leant to on the bounce, and he runs full pelt to that side.
Oh, chance here for Kernahan at the back. The skipper snaps and snaps truly. That's a great kick.
Yes, unfortunately for David, I think there wasn't much talk for him then. David Neitz going back in the pack then, and the ball bounced, and Stephen Kernahan stayed on the ground and read it perfectly, and very good snapshot from really was a pretty deep position in the pocket.
Now what you see now, when the centre bounce comes back this time, so we just run through this goal again. Yeah, just a little bit out of form. That's why he's playing down back. He probably thought he was going to get a bit of contact from behind there, and just went with the one hand to try and bring it to ground rather than 2 solid hands for a mark, and he just mopped up sticks. And just have a look at this one, because on the left-hand side of the screen, Williams and Bradley, they'll split, and they'll go one either side of the centre bounce. Now, Bradley will wait until it reaches the full top of its arc.
You won't see it, mate. There's a free kick.
And it's going to Carlton and to Matty Allen.
Sounded good, Dermy.
Yeah, but he actually waits till the ball's almost on the downward
very good at it.
axis of it, and then that's the direction he goes. He doesn't go too early.
Allen, little kick to Murphy. Carlton's last 6 appearances have read win-loss, win-loss, win-loss.
Neitz has dropped back 100 metres off Kernahan there.
To centre half forward by the skipper. Silvani at the back. Neitz fell over. Pearce. It was Ingerson who actually fell over. Got a hand to it. Seacamp coming out. Williams clever. Great hands to O'Sullivan. Brushes the tackle and kicks a goal.
Yeah, very intelligent handball by Diesel. Then just looked up and managed to see Rhino, and Rhino was caught on his wrong foot but managed to slam it through all the same.
So Carlton has its second, and the gap back to just 1 point. And here it is in replay.
Good gather by Williams here.
He's really got his career going again, hasn't he, Rhino?
Well, let's have a look at this centre bounce here. We'll get the camera from behind the goals coming through here. Watch him. See, he waits till the ball hits the hands before he goes forward.
Woden was taken high as he got his kick away. Great courage by McDonald.
Matt left him, played inside the corridor, and it was a great diving grab.
He's not a bad set shot at goal, Anthony McDonald. He spent a fair bit of time at Hawthorn in the reserves and saw him progress, but never got a game there. I don't know if he can make the distance. He's a fairly slight fellow, but he is a pretty good set shot. I dare say this, unless he goes for the set play. Actually, Pyman's on the lead here, loose.
Yeah, because Hickmont's not picking him up. Hickmont's Pyman's man. They know he's not going to go to him.
This for his 5th AFL goal.
It's a lovely kick. Swinging back. Oh, just brushed the other side of the post.
You can see where Greg Williams actually calling everyone in.
Yeah, now they're calling, that's a great point, Horse, because with a man-on-man situation, they really are better off bunching. Now they're sort of doing half a zone, Melbourne. So they're very disciplined, Melbourne, to be able to do that halfway through is very, very disciplined play.
Yeah, what they did, they waited then, and when they saw the huddle came, they had a few directors who were just saying, guys, sit out off the edge of the huddle.
Glenn Manton.
That's a great shot, that one. Shows you the weight and numbers.
Dean first hands to it. Crowd calling for holding the ball. David Ackland, the umpire, didn't agree. He'll bounce it.
Kernahan has actually been pushing right up the ground for that second kick, with Pearce looking to be the second option at centre half forward.
Camporelli getting ready to come back on for the Blues. Bit of a stalemate here.
Just trying to work out who they're going to pull off, and
Pearce has got his second opponent already. He started with Stephen Phoebe. Now he's got he's probably just a little bit too good overhead.
David Ackland bounces. Half forward flank out of side for Melbourne. There's an enormous pack of players around here, and you wouldn't be surprised if the umpire might find one here in a sec.
No surprise either with Todd Viney in there laying one of the tackles. He's had 4 possessions already.
ferocious tackling, like you said, Derm. It's a great sign for Melbourne.
Must be 20 players around the ball. Allen clears it, got it to Ratton. Umpire didn't need to pay a free kick. Ratton's kick went off the side of the boot. Sexton. Anstey has O'Sullivan running. Fakes the handball. Got a good shepherd from Kernahan. O'Sullivan centres it to Silvani.
That was very well done by Stephen Silvani then, because you see that Luke O'Sullivan actually went to kick it one way, then went back the other way. Stephen Silvani was thrown out on the lead, actually committed himself to the first lead, then had to go back the other way when O'Sullivan did the balk, and still managed to get in the right position for the kick.
He's hit his head again, hasn't he, Dermy?
I think he might have landed on the ball.
He got it pretty hard there.
Oh.
No, he gave it a bit of a tweak there. Anstey off in the meantime, and Camperelli, after receiving some instructions from the coach, comes back on to resume duties on the wing.
He is a bit groggy.
Yep, and what would you be thinking now? Ned, if you were the man on the mark, what would you be thinking after he kicks this?
If he kicks it?
Oh, forget the kick. What do you think you'd be going through your mind for the next passage of play with Silvani standing in front of you?
If I was going to be playing on Silvani and he kicked this goal and be his second, which we're seeing now, so he's kicked it. Yeah, I'd really be trying to play Stephen from in front rather than behind, perhaps where Ingerson's getting caught a little bit.
Yeah, when Carlton have brought the ball forward, they've actually had a fair bit of space.
Yep.
And as Horse, you've made mention, Kernahan's pushing up to the wings as a centre-half forward, and we've got Pearce playing that secondary centre-half forward at home. Leaves an enormous amount of space for them to lead into, and he's just got the option of leading away from the full forward zone and just really making up his mind whichever way he's going to spear the lead, 45 degrees either way.
Loves diving too, like we've seen on numerous occasions, so it probably is better to play him in front.
Matty Allen 6th in the hit-outs before today, and Stein 2nd, only to Paul Salmon. That one to Allen, decisively. Neats, tackled by Kernahan. Brett Lovett wrapped up. Secondary bounce to take place.
Pete, talking about tackles, Melbourne have had 9 to Carlton's 5, and it's interesting having that number of tackles in a quarter. If you get up near 40 to 50 tackles in a game, you're really going quite well.
Steins with the left hand interfered with Allen. Umpire was on the spot, Chris Mitchell.
He doesn't like jumping at the centre bounce, Jimmy. If he does, it's a jump early, so it takes away the real contest. Good mark.
Ingerson.
Well done by Ingerson, then really backed his judgment.
To Glenn Lovett. Members side, Steins provides the run.
But he's just a great athlete, Jimmy Steins, isn't he?
To half forward, not a good kick.
Yeah, it really had to go to the other side. Newton and led more back inboard.
Sexton takes it easily in the end.
That situation when he did the big arc then and ran onto the right foot, it'd almost be better if he got the player running past.
Seacamp one-handed knocked it down. Camperelli got through heavy traffic. Hand pass to Hamill, back to Camperelli. Pretty ordinary kick. Glenn Lovett. Stephen Phoebe. Umpire said Glenn Lovett was held on to too long in the tackle. Well done by Viney. Seacamp.
Bad kick.
Bradley with the drop. Hickmott at the back. Williams twisting and turning. Bradley well tackled. Williams well tackled. Hickmott. Perseverance. Camperelli brushes the Glenn Lovett tackle. Kicks towards Silvani and Ingerson. Ball was touched. Umpire set a free to Ingerson. 6 on one, half a dozen on the other.
Well, Horse, you're very close.
Yeah, the crowd aren't very happy with that. I think that Stephen Silvani is very good in the one-on-one contests, and I think perhaps that was the right decision. He just tried to push off Ingerson a little bit too early and put him above the shoulders.
Yeah, and it's funny, Sauce had his hand around his throat and still pleaded for him to have the free kick.
we all do that, I think, Dermot.
Rhino's just come off, Dermy, and Anstey's come back on.
Ingerson goes to a 2-on-1 contest. Murphy, second grab, couldn't control the ball. Viney was wrapped up.
What about that tackle there? I mean, that's a very good tackle by Ratton there, but just, do you see how Viney wouldn't lose his feet? He's an amazingly strong guy through the torso. Between the shoulders and the knees, he's as strong a bloke as you'd ever see. Just would not hit the deck then.
Kernahan gave Neitz a little nudge in the ruck contest. Ratton carried forward in the tackle. Umpire said holding the ball, and that won't please Ratton. He's not too happy with the umpires as it is. Glenn Lovett, oh, great smother. Peter Dean. Williams over the head of Allen. Ingerson can get it off to Steins. Steins needed to grab hold of it first go.
Yep, you don't want to make Jimmy bend.
Just went into his shell and he was caught.
You can't make Jimmy Steins bend for the ball. He's, as we say, he's a fantastic athlete, but he's carrying that many injuries, and one of them is a pretty stiff back.
One of the great strengths of Stephen Silvani is, of course, his ability to keep the ball in the forward line.
10 free kicks already in this match. Silvani squares it. Melbourne defence didn't try and punch. Phoebe got it to Woden into open spaces. It's a foot race. Uze, Murphy, couple of speedsters. Uze was tripped accidentally by Murphy. Umpire said, well, holding him.
Oh, geez, that was a bit... Not much in that.
Well, he didn't hold him.
See, Newton's on here. They've got to get in quickly.
Yes, there's a mismatch with Bradley.
Towards Newton. Didn't make it. Charles at 30. Goals.
Well, really, they should have got that very quickly to Newton. It was a great effort by Bradley just to spoil it forward, and then really the style of play that Charles has to be trying to do all the time, and rather than too much of a leading player, was crumbing beautifully.
Just watch this though. When he takes the ball, Mackay, who is a very quick bloke for about 6'1", almost got to him about 3 or 4 paces back, but just the acceleration off the mark by Charles allowed him to kick the goal, and he's happy with it.
He's told the boys too.
Melbourne's first quarter average this season, 16 points, so they're well in excess of that already, out to 20, and they lead by 2.
Uze's loose down here. If they get it, no.
See that one there, the umpire's call that Jimmy's first contact when he jumped up into Allen, he had his hands in his stomach. He didn't really want to go for the ball. Yeah, fair call that one, I thought.
Murphy's coming off.
Sorry, Ned. Sexton at the back. Hickmott tries to barge his way through. 2-on-1 here. Hamill did pretty well. Ball's bobbling around. Hickmott gets it off somehow to Anstey, and he's going to kick an easy goal.
Well, they just really pushed the ball forward. That it was well done by Hickmott in particular, who actually went for the first marking contest and then again did 3 or 4 contests one after the other, and they just kept pushing and bullocking the ball forward to eventually just score the goal.
It was amazing. There was no real definitive... You wouldn't call it a passage of play, would you? It was tackle and disposal just through necessity of getting rid of the ball, so you didn't want to be pinned for holding the ball, but it's worked its way, directed towards the goals for probably 40-50 metres there, so yeah, that's good team play.
One of those rolling rugby mauls, the ball just moving on somehow by itself.
Horse North Melbourne try and do that a bit.
Yes, well, I mean, we try and get the ball alive in our forward line, obviously, Dermot, but we weren't that successful after half-time last night.
We won't make you relive it again.
Thanks.
Carlton by 4 points. 22.5 minutes gone. Steins got the tap as he was falling to the ground. Viney just shoves his opponent off the footy while Woden was wrapped up there, and the umpire will come in and bounce it. Pierce the tackler.
And young Lee Newton's probably been penalised by the kicking towards him on 3 occasions now. I think he's made reasonable position. I don't think he's going to be a Wayne Carey by any stretch of the imagination, but he's going to be a good, competitive, hard-at-it player who can make the right position.
Melbourne have had more free kicks paid against them than any other team in the competition, 265. Well, Koutafidis had it and missed it, and Phoebe might make him pay. Good lead by Farmer.
Well, that was a great lead, and Manton picked up on it. Schwartz went up the middle, and Farmer went hard and quick to the right, and then almost, you see here, Schwartz almost brought Manton back into play by sort of not realising where Farmer was behind him, and Manton almost cut it off, but too quick.
That's only a positive error though, Ned. They just wants to run at the pill. We've got a great shot here, and that's a good kick. Like that one, Ned?
I love it, mate. I reckon I'm not barracking for the D's, but I'd just love to have seen him so many weeks over the last few weeks. It's great to see him get off to a good start, and these young kids who haven't had much to cheer about really starting to get some momentum going.
I tell you what, we try not to be unbiased, and I think Carlton are a very respectful club in my mind, but just being in the rooms before the game has just left me with a little bit of an affinity with those boys out there in the red and blue at the moment.
And they're doing pretty well. There's Farmer's kick straight as a gun barrel on replay. So 4-2 plays 4 goals. Club's second highest goal scorer in 96, Jeff Farmer, and that's his 17th goal for the season.
Second time against Melbourne. They've gone over the 45-metre square.
Don't you hate that when you're a backman?
Doesn't that kill you?
Dermot wouldn't know that, Horse, don't worry.
Never did it. Pushed you over there once, Ned, and we got the free.
Oh, no doubt. You always got the free against me.
Lovett actually playing off his young opponent, Jacob Anstey, at the moment.
poor kick by Matthew Allen went straight to Glenn Lovett. Newton had to go one-handed.
Well done, Newton. There, Derby, like you called before. Sexton's a great player.
Just gives you a contest. You look Newton across the half-forward line.
It's a good kick
Here's
too.
Schwartz advancing. Viney, first hands to it. Wheels around, measures his options.
There's only Carlton players back there.
So he
Farmer
goes to the
it.
square, 2-on-1. Bradley, experience.
Yeah, Farmer spotted that and he ran back, and it was lucky that Viney took so long to kick it, because there was 4 Carlton players back there all across that line from where Viney's kick would have been. Had it been a kick, it would have been cleared and running the other way by now.
Straight to Ratton. Great shot from behind the goals here. He can play on.
Good kick.
Towards Pearce. Just a little nudge. Umpire saw it.
Well, I think that's been an instruction from the from the AFL umpires actually this week, is to be careful of those little push in the backs that sometimes you can get away with.
There's a difference between nudging them and working them under the ball horse.
That's exactly right.
15 free kicks in this game already, not even at quarter time. Bit of tunnel ball from Sticks.
All but one of them have been there, I thought.
Oh, bad luck there by Neitz. He had to get it out and it went straight to Pearce, who looks for Dean, who's floated up the ground. Ingerson at the back, Silvani onto his left. Little chip pass, Matthew Allen.
Ingerson did superbly there, horse, but just to keep your feet.
Yes.
Allen played on.
Silvani's very good at keeping his feet, and that was very intelligent play, wheeling around on his wrong foot and being able to spot Matty Allen.
And Pearce will now kick from just outside 40.
Tell you, Horse, Pearce seems to be working extremely hard, more so than we've seen perhaps earlier in this year when he's been injured so much, but working very hard up and down and across the ground.
Yeah, he really is working very hard, and as I said before, Kernahan seemed to be working up and then down into the spaces with him and Kernahan are actually swapping roles.
Ride this one in, horse. You've got a good view.
Got a good view, and I think it looks pretty good from my point of view. It's a great kick by Pearce, and he certainly has been lively, Craig.
He's a very good athlete, Pearce, and as we know, he's pretty quick. And he got stereotyped there for a little while, didn't he? Just playing at full forward, but they're running him out to the half-forward line at the moment, almost. I mean, the way league football's played at the moment, you cannot play one centre-half forward, horse. You'd be testament to that when you've been up there. To play centre-half forward for the ball coming out of the back line and running to both wings is an impossibility. So you really need another bloke up there who's mobile, who can play centre-half forward, back or to one side of the ground.
On average this year, Carlton has won the first quarter by 2 points, and they might do it again. Ball in the Melbourne attacking zone though. Hogg, bad kick. Lux of Fortune goes to Williams. Look at those quick hands. We've been seeing that for years. Sexton.
Good shepherd by Neitz there.
An example again of Glenn Lovett playing off his man, reading the play.
To Brett Lovett. Wants to move it and does. Seacamp runs for him.
Just made him prop there, otherwise he would have kept him going in the run.
Glenn Lovett's alone. Phoebe. Too easily in the end to Brett Lovett. Steaming through the centre square towards Charles. Just couldn't grab it. Jumps on it again.
Get it out, get it out. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. Crowd won't like it, but it was probably fair enough.
Yeah, he pulled it back in. The umpire's in a great position.
Yeah, that was Newton almost helped him out there by double teaming hands on the ball, and they find it hard, the umpires, when 2 blokes from the one team are hatching it and one bloke from the opposition's hovering over holding the man and putting the other arm in the air saying give me the free kick. They're a bit reluctant to award those, the umpires, so that was good umpiring.
Todd Viney, 7 possessions for Melbourne. Sexton to the wing, Neitz in front, couldn't grab it.
He'd have swallowed that a year ago.
Kudafides
10 weeks ago at least anyway.
to the voice of Hickmott. Obston Pearce underneath it. Glenn Lovett through his fingers. Pearce on top of it. Shoveled out to Phoebe. Siren brings to an end a very entertaining first quarter of football. Greg Hutchison will be pretty pleased, as will Barry Richardson, with the endeavours of the Demons. But at quarter time, the scoreboard shows the Blues have a 3-point lead.
Yeah, well, they do have the 3-point lead. Melbourne probably could have done a little bit better when they were going forward, but as you say, 3 points down. Carlton 5 straight goals, 30 points lead Melbourne 4-3-27 here on Sports AFL. We're going to take a break and be back shortly.
9 out of 9 after trailing at quarter time. So, but this 3 points a little bit closer than they have been the last few weeks.
Too true.
Another interesting stat is this has been on average Carlton's worst quarter for the year, the second quarter. So can the Demons capitalise on that? Kudafides.
Came off the wing then, Kudafides, to the back of the bounce down.
Left foot kick towards Hamill. Camporelli there to assist. Seacamp knocks him off the ball, but his hand pass missed the target.
Did everything right then, Seacamp, except get the handball away.
Brett Lovett to a tight situation. Steins could only bring it around his body and landed about 2 centimetres inside the boundary
Now that
line.
is absolutely fantastic, and just he really meant that, Jimmy Steins, and his background in Gaelic football did that for him, being able to kick around the corner.
233 consecutive games for the big fella.
That's not fair.
Viney, Brett Lovett, Ratton. It's tight in there, needs a kick. Brett Lovett tried to get one, gave it to Phoebe. Good jump in front by Hopgood, went up one hand. Pyman calling for the hand pass. Took a bit long. Uze's in trouble. Had a while in the end. Sexton, Camporelli. Pearce makes the lead.
Gergic a long way away from Pearce then.
Yeah, he just caught watching the ball and not his opponent.
He does that well, Sticks. Many a time he's got me for that. That's just he just throws himself forward when he feels the slightest nudge in his back.
Yeah, there was no chance he was going to mark that, but he got the free anyway. Hickmott in front, Seacamp waiting down for the crumbs.
Good kick.
Clean bowl, both Neitz and Phoebe. Oh, Kernahan left it behind, unusual.
Jimmy's hurt himself behind play, if Jimmy can hurt himself.
Viney's kick was a high one. Newton was late on the scene. Dean had to wait underneath it.
He could get taken back for that.
And he is.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit late. There was no legitimate effort to spoil there. It was just a little bit of the old, I'll make him earn it. Could cost him a goal. Watch here.
See the runner. Oh,
yeah, just made him earn it.
See the runners just come out to Craig Bradley, who's been picked up by Hopgood, and Braddles had only had 2 possessions to date. So it's interesting. I never thought Hopgood was much of a tagger, but it's going to be a test for his running ability to go with Craig Bradley for the whole day.
As he's filled out, Hopgood, he's lost a little bit of pace. He's still pretty quick, but he was a very, very quick younger player.
Only kicked 32 goals in his career, Peter Dean.
Not a bad kick, though.
Make that 33.
Well done, Danny, but Costley, we've seen Melbourne a couple of times, haven't we, Peter Donegan, last few weeks? He's fired up, Newt.
Yeah, well, I like this kid, Newton. You'd almost say in the long term of the long scheme of everything, you'd give him one of them and say, there you go, that's what happens. You just got to learn to curtail that. But if you want to rile some of your opponents, that's the kind of effect you've got to have on them. You've just got to disguise it a little bit better. Yeah, and a learning process, that'll be good for the boy. Won't hurt Deeney's head either.
9 points the margin. Steins with the tap. Newton a backhander. Woden, good smother by Hickmott. Woden got it back. Hickmott got it back. Umpire found a free. It'll go to Hickmott at half back.
Yeah, he played advantage, but there was no advantage there. Good umpiring.
To the outer side. Over the head of Sexton. He can run towards it and flip the hand pass over to Luke O'Sullivan. He'll come back on his left. No, he won't. Right foot kick. Hits Matthew Allen.
Jimmy just struggling to stay with Allen. He rolled his ankle in front of the goal square there, and he's hobbling a little bit, but just couldn't keep up with him.
Timing off.
Yeah, Sean Smith to the forward line to give us some more marking power.
Allen to a vacant goal square. Silvani ran Ingerson out. It bounced on its point and bounced up into the post.
The big leg break, a big Shane Warnie. She spun right on her head, this ball, and turned right angle straight into the post.
Yeah, the reason Pyman's off and Sean Smith on, because Dean knew that he could just read the ball coming forward, made himself a marking guarder, so to speak, when Melbourne bring the ball forward.
Got to hold it up here. All the other players went to the other side of the ground then. The switch direction.
Gergic. Seacamp.
Bad kick.
McDonald made a contest of it. Newton at the back did well and nearly had his head pulled off by Hickmott.
Hickmott's 9 possessions already. He's been in the thick of it.
David Neitz actually running down to the forward line trying to make himself a target.
Wobbly old kick, and guess who gets it? The bloke who specialises in wobbly old kicks. The master of the helicopter punt, Kernahan, back down at centre half back to Manton. To Sexton on the wing.
He's just starting to think his way around Newton now.
Good grab.
Yeah, Sexton's actually had 11 possessions already.
Seacamp at the back, played on quickly to half forward. Schwartz the leaper at the back. Kudafides there to mop it up. Newton pressurised, but he got the kick away. Kudafides continues to run, and he'll get it back from Hickmott. Was he off?
I think he might have been, Pete. The Carlton defence actually working well together now. They're going to be very careful, Melbourne.
Hamill supplying a lead.
Oh, gee whiz. That was uncalled for by Hamill. Didn't have eyes for the footy.
Yeah, once again, you've just got to look at it and say, was there a legitimate effort to mark? And there wasn't.
Glenn Lovett.
Got heaps of options for the change of switch of play here, Dermot.
Yeah, now this is a very good thing. You've got a ruckman here who can outrun his opposition opponent.
Ingerson in a lot of space, got it to Steins.
Well, the umpires have been paying 50 metres for that when somebody wants to play on, and the opposition are refraining them from doing so.
Too slow, Jimmy, then. There's
He's got McDonald over the back. Sorry, Ned, to interrupt.
Tries to get it to him, but Hickmott in the front falling back takes a timely mark.
There's a lot of play in the Melbourne players midfield. They could have switched plays to. Jimmy just took too long to get on with the ball.
Williams to McKay, who's running Charles up the ground. Alongside the centre circle, plays on to Ratton. Ratton's kick towards Silvani. Good spoil, Ingerson. Hamill brushes the tackle, lost the ball. Ingerson gathered it, but he was wrapped up. Sexton, good tackle. Umpire said no opportunity.
He's done very well, Ned, in the one-on-ones already, Ingerson.
Well, we saw him last, I think it was a couple of weeks ago against the Brisbane Lions when he got out-bodied. But today he's been fantastic, with probably the strongest player in the league in regard to keeping his body weight low as Stephen Silvani.
Charles leading McKay. Umpire said he was held.
Yeah, a bit dubious, that one.
Kicks it on. Gergic, good hands.
I think that's, it is Uze.
Uze, sorry. Towards Sean Smith at the back team. Bradley. Cool head. Finds Hogg.
Got runners, Carlton.
Koutafidis is one. Hickmott's the other. Back to Koutafidis.
Well done, little farmer. Yeah, he had a go then, putting a little bit of pressure on them.
Hickmott got it back towards Silvani in the front spot. Seacamp did it well. Ingerson, Glenn Lovett. Goes back to Viney. Now, he had to hold the kick up. Had to kick to a contest. DiIulio and Uze.
That situation there where Uze's come up the ground, he has, when he sees that, when you see that further afield, 100 metres ahead, and your teammate can only go one way, you just have to beat your opponent to the outside of the ground by foot.
DiIulio straight off the ground, and Murphy came back on. Uze shows a bit of class. Hopgood, was he interfered with? Umpire said yes. Took him a while to pay it. Now they call play on advantage. Glenn Lovett running into the pocket. Doesn't deliver it well to Sean Smith, but he was good enough to recover and give it to Newton. Tries a banana kick. Look at this one.
That's close.
That was great stuff by the big fella then. It was well done by Sean Smith also. The kick wasn't that flash. Picked it up in the half volley and managed to handball, to a bloke who's probably 6'6", I think Lee Newton is, and in the old skull, and that was a fantastic check side punt for kick for goal.
Yeah, he's actually showing a bit, isn't he? Ned, you'd like him. He's got a bit of vigour about him. He's willing to give out the odd cuff.
Well, last week we saw a lot of it, and then Jimmy Steins went off to have a cut fixed and basically did heaps in the middle for them, and then got moved when Jimmy came back on. But he's showing plenty.
He was good when he was on in the ruck last week too. He gave them real vigour, and he gives them something to think about too.
The tiny town of Whitfield will be cheering after that goal, and that could inspire the Demons. Let's see. Newton, a little kick off the ground. Uze, Charles onto it. Sean Smith, McDonald can steady and kick a goal.
Well, that was Newton's sixth possession, that little kick forward. And sometimes people say the kicks off the ground don't count, but just to keep the momentum going. And it's funny how that, whichever side takes the ball out of their side of the centre square first, normally kicks the goal from the ensuing passage of play, and that's what happened there.
And Dermot, it doesn't have to look that pretty when you're pushing it forward. As long as it's going your way, you can see the Melbourne players here. Newton just getting a little toe poke to keep the ball forward. And Sean Smith has actually, since he's come on, hasn't got many kicks, but his handball work off the ground has just been superb and has resulted in 2 goals.
Yeah, well spotted, Horse. And the one thing Sean Smith has done against Peter Dean, which Pyman couldn't in the last few minutes, he's led him to the ball, whereas Pyman, not a natural forward, was being led to it by Dean.
That's right.
Centre bounce. There was a free kick, no doubt about that. Williams didn't have it. Melbourne fans don't like it, but the Diesel will take it. Quick kick. Silvani bounced a foot in front of him. Camporelli, he too can steady, and he's a good kick. He's a clinical finisher.
He's a class player. I mean, they really did miss him earlier on in the year when he was out with glandular fever, and it's unusual for a player to come back with glandular fever and really feel 100%, but he certainly made his mark in the last few weeks, and gee, he finishes well.
What are you doubting he had it, Ned?
No, I just mean that once they get it, they tend to, it takes you a good 12 months to get over glandular fever, mate.
Yeah, I know, I was just having a go at you, Cemented.
Well, we've missed you that many times the last few weeks, I'm not sure how to take it anymore.
It is great, though, when you do get the midfield players, when you can get a winger who will run 120 metres on one passage just to be a receiver going past the passage of play. It's just a huge benefit to your side.
Good having Dermot up in the commentary box, Ned. There are still some sandwiches left on the plate. Allen's tap was taken by Woden. Quickly got it away. Now here's Farmer. Another goal. Yes, sir.
What a game of footy.
Actually, that was very intelligent play by Farmer. You can see the two Carlton players, if we watch the replay here in a minute, the two Carlton players actually both went up the spoil. Farmer stayed down, and therefore he was by himself at the punch down and enabled him to have an easy shot for goal. You can just see the two Carlton players going up. Farmer stayed down, and he had a pretty easy shot for goal.
Yeah, he actually let his man Hoggy run away from him to the contest, didn't he? He just kept his feet, and that's what he's there for.
Exactly right. He's there to get those crumbs.
He only has to lead and take the mark when no other option is available. But there was the big man run right down the spine, and that's just the plan with Hutchie. The big men down the spine, kick it to them, and those guys feed off them.
4 goals in 3 minutes here. Ratton lost possession. Williams, lightning handball to Camporelli. The Blues come forward again. Neat's going back. Oh, gee. Nearly took a ripper. Anstey's going to kick another goal.
Certainly has. He swung it back in, and Neat's going back into the contest then. Don't know about that one. Might have been better just to sit down and wait for the crumb. And what happened afterwards is all three Melbourne players ended up on the ground, and the Carlton players kept their feet there.
Yeah, well, it's good. He's making an effort. I suppose it's a positive error if you look at it. He's out of form. He's making the positive error to try and win the ball. But as you say, look, if he had the Carlton jumper on, then you'd run up to him and say, well done, you split the pack open.
Lead here has changed 4 times in 4 minutes. What a game of footy at the MCG. Settle back and enjoy it on Sports AFL. Jimmy Steins will enjoy that ruck contest because he finished up getting the free against Allen. Weighs up his options.
Straight down the centre where the big men are.
And that's what he does. Schwartz.
Well done.
Got rid of Manton with the big body.
Yeah, just David's strength then. Just leant on Glenn Manton.
Let him bump off him, didn't he?
Yeah, it was very well done.
One kick, and he's put it to good usage.
He rang me the other day and he was very disappointed with the number of possessions he's getting, and I said, mate, all you need to do is kick 2 or 3 goals a game and you've basically done your job. All he has to do now, I think, is tighten up on the defensive side of things.
Big run up for this one, Horse, for a shot at goal. Do you think that can make you a little bit in balance when you actually kick?
It can, although some players are actually better off kicking on the run. It certainly hasn't done him any harm.
No one's capable of missing here.
How good is this game? This is, well, it's a game between 12th and 16th. 12th have won 2 games. 16th have won, 14th have won up to 7 games. I'll get this right. Carlton are in 12th. They've won 7 games. And Melbourne, 16th, they've won 2 games. This is one of the best games I've seen for about a month, I reckon.
You hit the nail on the head before, Ned, I think, by saying that David Schwartz just has to kick his 2 or 3 a week.
Well, he's got his 2. Now, will Carlton reply in kind? Just been seesawing. Brett Lovett went to take it. Williams wrapped him up. Sexton tackled by McDonald. Newton picked his pocket to Phoebe. Phoebe with a chip kick. Sean Smith caught behind. He's going back now. So's Schwartz, so's Murphy. Forces it behind and stops the run.
That's the type of situation where if you're Greg Williams on the opposite side, you'd throw your hands up to say, yeah, I kicked that. That's my goal. That's how we milked one a couple of years ago. The Melbourne have got the zone in place now. They've decided against the surrounding of the huddle or the man-on-man.
Oh, kick went over Hogg's head. Luckily enough, Sexton was there and he gave it back to Hogg. Williams. Don't think they like him that much. Now the umpire's calling him back here.
He just pushed off and played on. It's interesting watching Diesel then. He actually made up his mind he was going to get out on this own.
Cambrioli's loose. Sorry, Ned. Yep. Cambrioli's loose. He's just waltzed past there and I noticed nobody picked him up. Go on, Ned.
I just got out there by himself. He's very good. You've got to be very aware that on that rebound, you've got to pick him up.
Oh, well done. See, he called Hickmott forward there so it'd open up for Koutafidis behind him. I mean, that's just sensational.
Cooter's kick towards the pocket and Silvani in front. Brett Lovett down to Glenn Lovett. Neats Fakes the handball off the left. Diesel in front.
Well done.
Spoil
Good
by
contest.
Schwartz. McDonald grabbed it. Koutafidis grabbed him. Umpire said holding the ball.
Bad luck that.
Melbourne members have gone berserk.
Yeah, I think the free's there for that one, but it's just bad luck.
Williams went one way, then the other. Gave Koutafidis the option. Newton sticks his claw up in the air
and raises the knee in the oncoming sticks. I like this boy.
Got a bit of spunk about him. Williams wrapped up by Schwartz, and didn't he love doing that? Ratton, Sexton, not a good kick.
Well done, Jimmy. Holding the man.
Play on. Brett Lovett, Sean Smith.
Yes, you've got to be very careful with those, bringing the ball in too early across the centre line there, and I mean, that's just the last thing the fullback wants, is space up the ground, which Sean Smith had plenty of then to lead into.
Yeah, good point. That all the Carlton players, they thought we've won easy possession in. They went for the run to be linked players, opened it up.
That should have been 50 metres then. Ratton walked in front of Sean Smith, and Sean Smith pointed it out to the umpire, and I don't think he was watching.
Might have been thinking, well, you can make me get a bit pedantic if you want. I'm not going to, too. Will it come back? Not enough. Good play, though, the Demons there.
I just wonder how long they're going to leave Silvani at full forward if he keeps the ball comes down here. He's not really... He needs to find a body or really be diving for the mark. And the last few times, it's Inglison's done a great job.
Yeah, he's been good, hasn't he?
Dean into the pocket and Camporelli. Couple of options. Koutafidis, Murphy sprinting through the centre square.
That'll go over.
Pearce.
Oh, well roved.
Hamill just couldn't quite pick it up. Demons defence standing up well. Seacamp taken forward. Gergic got it to Viney. Somehow got it out the back door to Steins.
They're teaming well, the Demons.
Seacamp. McDonald stops.
Got to go to Schwartz.
Heads in that direction.
Oh.
Sean Smith at the back. There's his trademark leap. It's coming back. Chain of handballs ends with Sexton. His kick only succeeds in finding Seacamp. Kernahan made him earn it.
Well, see, the difference there, sorry, Horse, is that Kernahan made out his fist was going for the ball. Always he was going to crash into the back and make him earn it, whereas Newton just gave a clip across the back of the neck.
Melbourne might be better off getting the ball into their forward line quickly. Uzo was by himself just before in that passage to play, and they went for one handball too many.
Woden, long kick off the left. Newton, Manton at the back. Ball wrapped up, and a bounce will take place.
It's a good point, that, Dermot, isn't it? You often have the midfielders running down thinking, oh, I'll take another bounce or another handball, and all of a sudden all your forwards have led to the wrong position, or they're now out of position.
Yeah, and they're 70 metres away from goal by the time you kick, which means if they do mark it, they're 80 metres away. They're effectively not forwards.
Melbourne forward line very crowded there.
Sexton with the clearing kick. Steins.
It's going to get more crowded, Horse. It's coming back. Oh, maybe not.
Handball missed by Woden. Now Anstey sweeps on it. Glenn Lovett running after him. Anstey centres the kick to Silvani. Ingerson, great work. Well, fantastic stuff.
I thought Sauce had his name written all over that, but Ingerson's made up the ground. Well done.
Gergic.
Bad kick.
Camporelli moves it on quickly towards Silvani. Hamill, big fly. Second attempt. Ball on the deck. Ingerson to Glenn Lovett.
Seventh possession for Ingerson. He's been very good back there.
Oh, Camporelli needed to keep his feet. He slipped over, allowed McDonald to run through. Charles.
Oh, good hands. You just don't think Sean Charles is going to hold those ones over his head like that, but that really stuck there, and it was a big... It takes a bit of courage to jump like that sometimes. You get your legs taken from under you.
He was just about to give the umpire a huge bake for not paying him the mark, and he said, but I did. Hopgood.
That's a good lead, that.
Sean Smith hits him on the chest at 45.
Yes, they really used the angles of the zone then, of the zone, the goal zone in front of the square. Sean Smith actually led right across really wide, and that's actually not a bad place to lead.
This for his second goal of the season.
Got the legs.
Yes, I think that was a pretty good kick by Smithy. Smithy's actually got a natural draw to his kicking style. You can see him run out to the right a little bit and draw it back. He was like that when he was at North Melbourne, and had a slight little hook towards the end of his kick, and that was just drawn back very nicely.
That's the kind of lead, Ned, you would have played on Jason Dunstall a fair bit. It's just instinctive. If the man, say, on a 45-degree angle, and you just draw a line instinctively straight to goals, and players congregate on that line, and someone like Dunstall found that if that's the case, that means they're leaving space elsewhere. You run directly to the other side of the ground.
Work the angles.
It's a 5-goal quarter by the Demons. Carlton with 3. And the Demons have the lead. Steins on the ground. Williams to Bradley. How many times have commentators said that over the years? Bradley just bounces off a teammate. Heads up forward. Silvani. No mark. Pearce across his shoulder. Misses to the left.
He's up, Sauce. He didn't hold that long enough. He was getting a bit angry.
Would you keep Silvani there, Ned, for the moment?
Yeah, I still would promote. That's this kick in. This is where they're better off kicking the ball high and into a contest with Silvani rather than out in front. If it has to be in front, it has to be right in front. But he loves finding the body contact.
Glenn Lovett kicks in to the great Southern stand side, and Woden. Hamill showed courage, couldn't get back. Brett Lovett in space. Chips it to Charles.
Charles doing well in the lead against McKay now.
Moves it on along the boundary line. Two little fellas, 33 v 33. Farmer and Hogg, ball out of bounds.
Johnny, it's interesting what you're saying about doing well on the lead now. One way Collingwood always, a year or so ago, sure he wanted to break up the way Carlton played, is the fact that the shorter kicks, and it's a style of play that Melbourne plays, they sort of chip the ball around a little bit more, and it sort of segregates the defence like Dermot was talking about in the first quarter.
David Park and Adrian Gallagher in the Carlton coach's box. Williams again with quick hands to Sexton. Which way will it bounce? Wrestle going on between Neitz and Kernahan. Kernahan recovers. Glenn Lovett's there to mop it up though. They're doing well. Phoebe to Steins. Look out, Jimmy. Viney, Glenn Lovett linking up in the midfield. Bangs it in towards the forward line. 3-on-1. Murphy dropped what he should have taken. There's a bit of panic here. Farmer kicks it over his head and kicks it behind.
Yes, Murphy had a chance to mark that, but I think there was possibly, again, one more handball than what Melbourne needed then. Sean Smith actually led for the ball, and because there was one more handball, he was caught out from possession. They were forced to go long to Farmer, who's actually not the marking option for them in the goal square.
A 5-goal quarter for Melbourne so far, and Glenn Lovett 7 possessions through the midfield. He's been very good.
What happened then?
It was like a 50-metre penalty. I think, if I still know the umpire signals, Ned.
I don't think they knew what they were signalling there. Manton to Allen. Right foot kick. Silvani at the back. Put his hand over the shoulder. Umpire let it go. Anstey again. Tries to get the kick away. Silvani goes off the ground. Lovett dives on his boot. Well done. Steins across the face to Phoebe. And Melbourne have the numbers.
This is the time the half-forwards of Melbourne have to work to get over into space on this side of the ground.
They've gone inboard. Brett Lovett gave it to Uze. Darts through the centre square. Kick was a shocker.
He had Smith coming in from the other side too, who'd done his play at Dean then.
Can Carlton rebound it? Bradley, Hickmott and Murphy combine. Allen.
That could really hurt you, a turnover like that. Full control, no pressure, and you give it up.
They're playing smarter, Melbourne, now. They're just dropping back into the gaps with Silvani.
Gave the hand pass off to Murphy. Silvani and Ingerson again. Silvani one-handed, brilliant.
That's... Oh.
Careful.
Careful, Sauce. I mean, like I said, that's the way that's a better way to kick it, a Sauce. You wouldn't normally do it with most full forwards, but look at that strength there, just bang. That's fantastic.
Just sensed he needed this one because he's getting a little bit frustrated down there. Yeah, Ingerson, see how he's lost his right foot off the deck there?
Yep.
Yeah, pushing off one leg, he'll never beat Steve Silvani. It's hard enough with 2 on the deck.
60%, and he's had 5 possessions, 3 marks. So his kick this will be good because I thought he's probably struggled this quarter, and Ingerson's certainly been on top.
This for his second to cut the lead to 3 points. No problems.
Pearce coming up to him there. Pearce is now playing back in the goal square. He's had 8 possessions, Pearce, and there's Steve's goals, 2 set shots.
Well, legitimately, I mean, the score is 12 points opposite the way it should have been with Uzo's turnover in the middle of the ground there. He had Smith running about 50 metres away, who'd done his opponent, beaten him with positional moving, and should have taken the ball about 45 metres from goal. Bad kick, cost them dearly.
Should be plenty of time on in this quarter. We've played 25 minutes, 5 goals on the run, 4 from set shots for the Blues. Bradley gets it out of the middle. Kernahan in front, sticks his bottom into Neitz. Glenn Lovett, Brett Lovett, look out.
Well done.
Well, he brushed Camporelli off like he was a mozzie.
Well, he's only a fine-boned young man, Camporelli.
Murphy goes back. Oh, here's a chance for McDonald if he can get around Murphy. Gives it to Newton, lines up from 30. Kicks the goal.
He's in good nick, Horse. Big Newton. Second goal for Lee Newton. He's just following the passage of play at the moment, so he's doing very well. He's at centre half forward. He's just giving a bit of movement, a bit of vigour. We'll see Schwartzy go up there and watch Newton come into the scene eventually. McDonald, he's just getting. See, he's just come out of the. He's on the same line of play that they come in. He's just getting to the fall of the ball, and he's creating Sexton a few worries at the moment.
Term in the last 4 weeks, Melbourne have kicked 5-15, 7-8, 7-13 and 8-9 for the entire game.
And they've got 6 in this quarter, Pete.
10 goals, 6 approaching half-time, and they lead by 10 points. What a game. Here's an upset on the cards. Carlton might have something to say about that. Hickmott to Ratton. Oh, well done, Seacamp.
It's a bad kick then. It just floated over the top of his head. It should have been short and out in front.
To the Great Southern stand side, Gergic nudged out Murphy and the umpire said illegally.
It's almost if you make one quick contact when you're nudging somebody under the ball, it's in the back. But if you just edge them gradually under there, you'll get away with it.
Kernahan at the back.
Yeah. Trademark.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you have that done. I've had it done to me a few times. Look at this. This is just... See, and that's what you're talking about, edging under rather than pushing. He just places and doesn't let the man come underneath you or push you backwards.
We'll get this on the replay in a second when it comes up after the goal, but just, as you say, Ned, just pushes gradually. It's elongated contact, isn't it? If you just wrap them one contact and they lunge forward, it's in the back. But he'd be no certainty from here, Sticks.
Let's see if we can come up with one of the trademark helicopter punts.
Spins all right. And... Williams coming off.
Bit ugly that one, as you called it, Pete, and should have kicked that.
Yeah, he uttered the profanity there as he looked the other way. Lucky we didn't get it on screen.
Now Diesel coming off then caused a bit of a hole in the zone. Rhino couldn't get to fill it up quick enough. O'Sullivan and couldn't get to fill it up quick enough, the hole, and they found the hole out.
Running around, Lovett. He's got off his man again.
Between half forward and wing, turns back inside, goes off the left towards Schwartz. Good body contest between him and Manton. Sexton uses Manton, brushes the tackle inside. Koutafidis, choice of 2. DiIulio. Hickmott provides the shepherd. Kernahan nudged out by Neitz. Don't think Neitz liked that one. Kernahan coming up the ground on the wing.
Hickmott's on.
Give it back, he said. 30 free kicks already in this game. Well, he gave it back to him the second time.
Oh, Ratton's moving into space.
Yeah, that's poor play. Like everyone just said, all the Melbourne guys have just stopped. They just didn't want to fill up the gaps at all.
Well, the
Murphy's on here as well.
The Melbourne Blokes followed their opponents out wide, and then he just came in behind Ratton.
Well, there can't be too much doubt about that one. You don't agree, Ned?
Well, as I just glanced down, I thought Sauce actually swung him around, Ingerson around, but I'll have a look at the replay if it comes up here, and might be a fair call.
Well, this legitimately for a league footballer is a point-blank range. And that's what happens. Another goal to Steve Silvani. His third for the quarter as we approach the 30-minute mark. Carlton creep back to within 3 points.
Peter, we've seen this the last few weeks. It's just, yeah, around the neck there. good decision. But
Here it is, Ned.
Here it is now, around the neck, and he's just basically...
Oh, actually, he did have the hand there,
yeah.
but as soon as Sauce felt it there, he's turned his body willfully. He's milked that one, Silvani. It was a free kick if he'd been pedantic, but he's milked that one. As soon as he felt that there, almost like the man who senses somebody running around the back of him, pulls himself away at the same time and says, I'm being held. He's milked that one, Silvani. Did it very well too.
Lucky we didn't make that move early in that quarter, Ned. He's kicked 2 since then.
They've got to concentrate now, Melbourne. This is where we've seen them really slip away.
Might have been a lot of free kicks, but that is the first free kick to either side in the forward scoring zone. Viney, just turns around, brushes them off. So important for Melbourne. Phoebe looks towards the flank. Schwartz in front.
Yeah, he just worked Manton away from the fall of the ball there.
30.5 minutes ticking over. He goes into the pocket. Now that siren had gone by the time the mark was taken. The umpire said he's going to pay the mark.
Well, the only thing that I can think of there is that the siren comes from up here near us, and by the time it's reached downstairs where Chris Mitchell had control of play, the mark had been taken. And he is a pretty good kick on the left here.
He'd have to be a great kick, Dermot, from there, I think.
Yeah, kick from about 51, 52. If he hits it to the outside, the further side of the goal line, it's going to have to carry about 60 metres on the drop pump. But if he sneaks it in on the near goal post, he should make the distance.
Will they go in punching the air if he gets this? No. Pulls it and through for a behind, but a great quarter, and the Melbourne members appreciate the efforts of the D's. They're 4-point leaders over Carlton at half-time. It has been a
set for a fantastic second half if it continues on the way of the first half.
Melbourne leads by 4 points. Bradley first hands to the ball, gives a quick hand pass to Ratton. He bangs it into the 50. Silvani let Ingerson out. Seacamp, Ingerson, not a good handball. Silvani paddles it in. McDonald didn't know what to do. He was caught and he's gone. No, umpire said he couldn't get rid of it.
Yes, McDonald actually going back into play then would have been better off perhaps heading towards the boundary line.
Steve Silvani had a bit of a chat with Chris Mitchell as he was going down to his position, I noticed. Neitz taps to DiIulio. He's dispossessed. Kernahan. Camporelli actually dived at his feet there. Kernahan looked likely to pick the ball up, and he pulled away as Camporelli was about to grab it.
Dermy, if Neitz went forward, would that force Silvani to go back and play on him?
Well, you see, the thing is, if Neitz goes forward, they can't have 4 big guys out in there. You'd leave Carlton the way they are. They'd run it out very easily when the ball hits the deck, I think, Ned. But, yeah, if he takes a few grabs, it'd force them to.
Hickmott almost a well-judged mark. Viney wrapped up by about 3 of them.
Good question though, Ned, because look, if he can find a bit of strength in the hands and catch it a few times, it could make a temporary headache and throw Carlton's balance out.
Could I just wonder who else would have to go with him down here if they wouldn't? I mean, I think Silvani'd have to come back, and that'd upset Carlton another way, not having a forward. Although Lance Whitnell's on the bench, isn't he?
You'd hate to put him up against an in-form Neitz if Neitz was catching it though in the back half.
Ball to be thrown in. Interesting to note, Dermot, that Carlton has not kicked more than 3 goals in the third quarter since round 7.
Well, that's as Hutchie was saying, that's supposedly their premiership quarter, so they'd be looking at holding them to less than that, Melbourne. They're in good nick once again through Lovett going forward.
Got a good shepherd from Steins. Sexton falling, takes a great mark.
Was a great grab.
Bradley.
Well, this is what they don't want. Bradley getting on and starting to run. They've got to make sure Hopgood's got to keep on him and pick him up.
Good pressure, though, by Melbourne. They turned them back inside because they didn't have the pace to get away from them. That's good play there.
Hickmott did pretty well, too. Nearly fell over, but he got it to Sexton. Free kick to Carlton. Koutafidis to take it. Just outside 50, playing in his 100th game today. He's played every game this year. He's been having a bit of a trough. Murphy. Good juggling mark.
You can see Jimmy Steins actually dropping back into the hole in front of goals there, and therefore forcing Murphy to lead towards the boundary line.
Allen made the run down. Steins got back to cover him, so Murphy will kick from around 45.
Got a good view of it from there, Horse. It's not a very difficult pocket to kick goals from, though.
No, you can bring it around, especially if you're a right footer.
This to give Carlton the lead.
It's a very good kick. Yes, as you said, Dermot, if you're actually going to have a shot, if you're a right footer, you'd rather have it from there, because the natural draw of the ball brings it around and swings the ball in towards goals.
It's almost a situation, I know it isn't, you could probably prove it if you were a surveyor, but you just get the feeling out on that side of the ground that you're actually uphill from the goals, you're kicking downhill to them, and it's a good feeling when you approach goals like that. You feel like you're going to get the distance. All you have to do is worry about the accuracy.
So Carlton has the lead back again, only by 2 points. Bounce in the middle by umpire Steve McBurney. Pretty well a line ball. Pearce out to Sexton. Carlton mounting a challenge. Kernahan comes out, marks it on his chest, moves it on quickly towards Silvani. Well, if it's not a mark, it's got to be a free kick.
Yes, I don't think actually Steve took that mark. He just was fortunate enough to receive the knock over the head from Ingerson.
It's a good lead by Silvani, though.
Really is his trademark, these type of leads, aren't they?
Yeah, I think without the pressure he wouldn't have marked that. He would have marked it, sorry.
Just misses to the left-hand side. Silvani, 3 goals, 1 for him. Carlton moves along to 11-4.
I just get the feeling, I think then when it got into the breadbasket, so to speak, without the pressure from behind, taking his head and his eyes off the ball, he would have held on to that. So 50, what is it? 6 to 1, half a dozen the other, Pete.
That's it, Derp.
50%er.
Carlton
kick out.
actually working the zone very well at the moment.
Thebe has to clear the 50 towards Steins, and he bats it on to Glenn Lovett, who's got Viney running for him. Viney has space. 2 bounces. Runs to the wing. Kicks towards Schwartz, going back. Charles! What a mark!
His hands have been fantastic today. He's taken 2 contested grabs like that, and they've been sensational. They've been the best overhead marking I've seen Sean Charles commit himself to.
It was a great grab, and as he Schwartz calling the ball to kick the ball long and on top of his head, and Farmer read it well, and second man up and took a lovely grab.
The distance will test him, Ned.
Certainly will.
That's his 3rd mark for the day. This to get the lead back for the D's. Kicks from 49.
Great kick. It was funny then, the way he ran in, he sort of went one way and then came back inside the other way just to get a little bit more distance, sort of hooked the ball a bit, and it was a lovely kick.
It's almost a side step to the left so he could get a bit of a hook foot back onto the line of it that the umpire had put him on.
It's almost like the rugby style when they start to kick it. Just at half-time I went to the toilet and the Carlton supporters said, oh, if we lose to this, Mum, we're going to have to sack the coach. So they've started already.
Yeah, good kick, good grab. Now that was well deserved by Sean Charles there. You see Diesel standing on the attacking side of the pack now, which means he's a defensive man in the centre square.
Bounce favours Steins, he takes it. Allen wraps him up, and that'll have to be another one.
It's funny, as a ruckman, all the players, if you're a ruckman, you've got one man on the defensive side, on the attacking side, he's a defender, he's just trying to man up the opposition. The other 2 who are standing by you, they're the players you're actually aiming for.
Steins gets a clever knockdown. Brett Lovett tries to break the Pearce tackle. Umpire said it was held to him.
He was going to leave nothing to the imagination of the umpire there that the ball was pinned to him, was he? There was arms flying around everywhere.
There's Hutchie in the coach's box. David Parkin, we saw before, giving the chewing gum a decent working over. Allen's tap was a ripper to Pearce. Neitz leading Kernahan. He's got 2 metres on him. Swings it around his body. Pearce in front takes the mark in front of Brett Lovett. Moves it on quickly. Centres it. Looking for Camporelli. Steins in front though.
Yeah, Steins is very good at that, at working in and filling in those holes at centre half forward and full forward.
Viney running for him. It sits. He takes a bounce. Comes back inside. Didn't really have any options there. That's, well, a bit fortunate for Melbourne.
Absolutely. That should have been holding the ball. He knew he was under pressure while waiting and went straight to ground. The pressurised kick, you've just got to trust that your half forwards have read the situation and they've won their foot race to the outside of the ground. You just pump it forward and hope they've beaten their opponent there.
Might have been just a bit of a break the Demons needed. Ratton grabbed by Phoebe, another bounce to take place.
Gergie could work very hard over there to be a loose man, because Pearce had basically still stayed on the other flank, and they should have just tried to get it forward to him.
Comes down to Ratton, gives it to Williams. Off the left, Kernahan and Silvani. Ingerson bats it away. Brett Lovett first to it. Bit happening off the ball.
Yes, Carlton unfortunately then had their two key forwards in Kernahan and Silvani flying together. I mean, that's the situation you usually try and avoid.
So it's tight going. A goal apiece early in the third quarter. And the Demons lead it by 3. McDonald swings it across his body. Hopgood and Bradley. Bradley got it. Hopgood got into his back. Batted away by Koutafidis to Sexton. Quick kick to Brett Lovett. Plays on to Steins. Clears the defensive 50. Left foot kick. Schwartz advancing. Hogg had to let it go over his head.
He wasn't going back, Hoggy. He'd be out of the action for the rest of the day if he did.
Farmer. Play on. Well, I thought he had enough of that unless it was touched off the boot. McKay to the outer side. Allen comes across. Oh, dropped it. Pearce luckily was there to get the crumbs. Gave it to Hickmott, who's got a lot of space in the centre square. He can run in and shoot for goal if he wants to. Pops it up to the top of the square. Silvani flies high. The D's defence are going to clear it though. Neat's great kick to Brett Lovett.
He's got Uze on long if he wants in.
Glenn Lovett didn't get a kind bounce. Had to wait for it. Gets it to Uze. Kernahan forced to come down the ground. Uze chips to Newton. Oh, crunch. Allen ran straight at him. Advantage paid. Melbourne move it onto the forward line and Smith comes out and takes the mark. And we'll keep an eye on Newton. He's hurt.
He hasn't moved.
No, he's just getting up now. It's just starting to move a bit. He's got on the head though, and geez, it was a hard hit. Good, well done, mate. Just got up and
good boy.
That's what it's about. That's a good hit.
Now that is, now look, I love seeing guys have a go, but he made no effort for the ball there, and he's just put that bloke in his sights and thought, that's a pretty weak thing to do in my mind.
Sean Smith, can he make them pay?
Well done, and Newton's got up and they've all gone over to him and got him going, because you don't understand unless you're out there, you've been out there, and a guy, one of your teammates goes down and he's been hit hard.
I reckon he's been reported. I reckon he's reported him. I reckon Steve McBurney has gone over to him. He's made no effort for the ball there, and he's cannoned into a bloke who's got eyes for the ball. And legitimately, as you can see there, Allen not once has seen the ball, known where it is. His focus there was to knock that bloke out. And I reckon that's a little bit of an ordinary act, that one.
Well, will it turn out to inspire Melbourne? They're 9 points in front again. Viney, wrapped up by Bradley. Umpire will bounce it quickly. Real hip-on-head job, that one. He seemed to get him just with the hip.
That's the hardest part of the body when you shirt front somebody, the point of the hip. It's just almost bone, and there's a lot of body mass behind it.
Ratton somehow found a passage through there. Kicks to Kernahan. Just couldn't grab it. Neats able to square it to Phoebe, who's got plenty of space and he can run.
Well, that's a fantastic sign for Melbourne at the moment. This is it's an 11.5-minute mark. At this time, the last few weeks, Melbourne have dropped away, but they've just really had a go at the moment at this time.
Schwartz to Charles in the pocket. Centres it towards Farmer. He's taken the mark.
He's marked it. It's going to test him. Great work by Sean Smith then. He ran, he couldn't get to the contest. Manton filled up the gap and he went and just spoiled the ball. Schwartz is working very, very hard, and Sean Smith's hurt at the side of his ear and he's holding his ear, but he just made a great contest. This will test him. Check side punt, I got right on it. He's run around a bit and he's hit the post.
Well, if you had to pick somebody in Melbourne, Ned, to have that kick, you'd go for Farmer.
Yeah, I would. It's just interesting, Farmer and Charles, they've just got to understand each other a little bit better, because a couple of times they've actually run to each other's space, and they've just got to be aware of each other, where each other are.
McKay presents the short lead. Hand pass back to the kick out from Dean.
Oh, they're in trouble.
Manton, Dean, good running. Short of DiIulio. He just lays on it. He laid on it. He got it out eventually. McKay to Camporelli. Hickmott.
Williams is just floating through the middle by himself. They'll eventually work it to him.
Ratton's got it. Didn't see Williams. Seacamp should have marked it. Glenn Lovett. Steins.
Melbourne defence have been very good this quarter.
To the wing. Well judged, Uze.
Sean Smith's on.
Goes to him. He's got time. Got the shepherd from McDonald.
Bad kick.
Manton led. Schwartz made a contest of it. Did well, Schwartz. Ball spills over the line.
Still in, I reckon.
No, it's out. Well done, David.
He just took it out there on that final death there, but it was still in. It was sitting on the line, and I reckon Manton stopped then thinking it's out of bounds. Well done, though, just to knock an arm there. Never made an eye for the ball.
Hopgood's pushed down here by himself. Bradley's now realised where he is.
All by himself, Hopgood. Charles decided to go over his head towards Farmer. Little nudge, almost took the mark behind Hogg, and it spills over the boundary.
Well, Hopgood did, that was smart thinking by Hopgood. Bradley went to the throw-in, and then all of a sudden he turned around and realised his tag had dropped off him, and perhaps might have been an option then instead of going for Charles going for goals.
Rhino getting ready to come on for Carlton. Luke O'Sullivan. Schwartz takes it out of the ruck, snaps and goes over the boundary line. It's a tight one.
This is almost the corresponding period in the last few weeks. Melbourne have died away, but look, Melbourne are the better team over the last 5 minutes. They've lifted.
Allen got the tap. Hogg in the favoured position. He'll be happy to take it to the boundary line, and Farmer's happy to escort it over.
That's a good illustration of how they're feeling at the moment. He knew that was only ever going to go over the boundary, Farmer, but he had to be the last man to touch it. Just shows good desperation.
He's not quick enough either.
Oh, how quick is he?
Allen at the back, little nudge, got Newton out of the way. Williams tried the handball. Hogg dives on top of it. Newton wraps him up. Brett Lovett tries to get it out.
That's holding the ball.
Yep. I mean, the member's gone silly, but it really was. He dragged it back in, and he just can't do that.
Yeah, good thinking by Matty Allen there.
Now, is this 50?
They pointed to David Schwartz and then gave him 50. I'm not sure what that was for.
It's interesting to note here that Melbourne, over the last couple of weeks, Ned, have had a couple of controversial decisions.
Sorry, Pete, Farmer's just gone off. It looks like he's done a bit of a hammy.
And really, they've dropped their bundle after a couple of controversial ones. So let's hope it doesn't happen now for the D's.
Yep.
Ratton in the centre square. Uze going back. Hopgood shrugs the tackle of Hickmott. Very well done. Spreads it wide, had no one to kick to, so he looks for the boundary and finds it. Well done, Paul Hopgood.
Let's go down to the boundary. Andrew Maher is down there because Brett Farmer's come off. Farmer's come off.
Yeah, in the hands of the physio at the moment, Dermy. He looks like he's in a bit of distress. It looks like a hamstring, a right hamstring. So as soon as the physio's finished talking to him, I'll get an official word for you.
Brett Farmer, son of Polly Farmer. A little bit of confusion there for a second.
Free kick here to Craig Bradley. There's Farmer on the boundary line. Bradley moves it up into the attacking 50. Seacamp at the front. Brett Lovett to Glenn Lovett. Just threw it onto his left foot. Now it's a race. Pearce will turn around onto his left. Handball to himself. Squared it to Anstey right on the 50. He'll move it on. Koutafidis.
He just opened up for Kuta there.
So looking for his first goal in his 100th game. David Parkin anxious to get him out of the trough.
He's not a good set shot either, Kuta, but that one looks good enough.
Carlton gets the 12th goal and trails now by 4 points.
That was good play by Pearce too. He's just a little bit slippery for his opponent then, and managed to get a couple of yards and a very intelligent short pass.
He just controlled the ball, didn't he, with Pearce? He just a little handball to himself. He knew that if his opponent kept holding him, it would have been holding the man, because he has the smaller turning circle at that stage.
The Melbourne defence have been pretty good up until that last goal. I think that the big improvement in Melbourne over this last quarter has been their defence, and unfortunately they just let that one sneak through.
Ratton and also Williams went up to Allen then and just started talking to each other, so there's a bit of but go left to right like Dermy said at the start of the game.
5 goals on the run, 7 goals from set shots for the Blues. Allen, Bradley. Blues come forward again. Murphy advancing. What will the bounce do? Silvani.
That's holding the man.
Umpire was right on the spot.
Yeah, I think that was fair enough too. It was a shame because the Melbourne player had it then and was going to clear it from the Carlton forward line, so it was very unfortunate.
when we get our replay here, it might show that he does initially take him. Sauce might hold on to him. Hang on, yeah, that's holding the man. He takes the hands away, yeah, that's a legitimate. Murphy coming off for Carlton.
Silvani for his fourth.
Hamill coming back on in the meantime as Silvani hits the post.
They need this. They needed that to hit the post because this is so important this next 5 minutes for Melbourne Footy Club.
18 minutes gone in a vital third quarter. It is the premiership quarter for both teams.
Jimmy Steins and Neitz. Steins is at the centre of the ground, the centre circle. Neitz at centre half back, and they'll probably both go to the same side. Oh.
Brett Lovett made a contest of it. There's a free kick here. And 50 metres.
Actually, it looked to me as though the free kick wasn't actually paid, and he had a bit of a think about it, the umpire, and had to think about it for a couple of seconds and decided that the free kick was there.
Looks like Pearce is a bit sore behind play, John.
Yeah, I think Pearcey just went to spoil that ball and might have copped a little corky, I think.
There's a good professional football aspect on that by Lovett, wasn't he? Just knew he was going to make the hard contact, but just kept the head up.
Schwartz.
Good. Oh.
Hopgood snaps from 30 metres and kicks a ripper.
That's a great goal. There's the boy who runs emus and works for the CSIRO.
Well, that's his 8th possession actually, and Bradley's had 10. He's kicked a goal, so he's very much on top of Bradley at the moment. But I was about David Schwartz had a great bit of body work again. Then the guys upfield have worked out that he's not running that well. Look at this, just bang. He should have really held that mark, but just great to see him. The guys upfield realising where they have to kick to him.
Once again, the professionalism of Lovett on the kick after getting the free kick. He's kicked that one about 60% in terms of hardness, and just making sure it weighted to the contest there of Schwartz and just fell on his head.
Melbourne back to a 9-point lead. Steins, Woden tucked it under his arm, turned around and got a quick kick away. Awkward bounce favours Stephen Phoebe. He kicks from 45 metres. Is it another one? Yes, it is.
I won't start singing the song, guys, but I know it off by heart from a Norwood day, so if they do win today, I'll get up and sing it for you.
It was well worked there. I mean, the Melbourne player there, I'll pick him up on the replay, just worked Hickmont away from the ball there. Knew he was never going to receive it. You see it come up here. The kick here, and he just works him under here. Oh, yeah, it's Uzo. See, he just keeps the body there, keeps him away from the fall of the ball, because he knew that Phoebe was coming through. A clear passage there, and as we say, sometimes you don't actually have to get a statistic against your name in terms of handball mark kick to actually be the major contributor in a goal scored.
Carlton has lost every match this season when they've trailed at three-quarter time, and they look like doing it here. The margin is 15 points. Viney over his head. Brett Lovett. McDonald. Viney just stole it. Barged his way through. Inspirational stuff from Todd Viney.
You don't mind if I applaud?
Oh, big fly from 2 or 3 players there. The commitment of both sides terrific. And the Demons have a scent of victory.
The centre bounce clearances have been very important this quarter, haven't they? The Melbourne players are really getting it out of there.
It's interesting now that Hopgood's now gone into the middle and Phoebe's picking up Bradley. Oh no, Hopgood's gone back onto Bradley. It's just the centre bounces when Bradley's staying out of the square.
Yeah, he just snuck out the back there, Ned, and he got minded. You did him a favour there, Phoebe. Hopgood, sorry.
Again, this rolling maul situation finishes with Sexton. Goes wide. Kernahan was tripped. Umpire said play on. DiIulio inboard to Kernahan. On his left foot, Bradley went through his hands. Well done, Seacamp. Just gets it and bangs it out towards the outer side.
I thought that was a free kick to Sticks then.
Neitz centres it. Kurtafides, great mark. Towards the members' side. Camporelli. Brett Lovett in pursuit. Camporelli in short. Pearce beaten for it by Obst. Charles in the front spot. Free kick, says the umpire. Now he calls play on. Went back to Charles. Wobbly kick, but it falls straight onto the chest of David Schwartz.
Well, Well, he tried for the talk.
What happened to Deeney then? Did he think it was going to go another 15 further?
Well, no, he actually, Farmer went for the talk. Charles went for the talk, but I think Deeney just thought he was going to do a drop punt. And,
oh, look, he bowed the head. He knew then and there that...
the old head went down.
That's why the set play came in, didn't it? Just that chip up of about a 35-metre drop punt horse, making everybody think it's going to go long. The forwards read it a little bit quicker and mark it on the chest.
Yeah, I think we commented on that last week, Dim. It's very important just to kick to the top of the square.
To make the gap 21 points, and he does.
Well, this will be interesting to see now with the Melbourne boys with a real belief, 21 points the difference, with a real belief that they can win this game and get a belief in themselves. Are they a good enough player? Do they individually have strengths that are better than their opposition players? It'll be good to see just if they can continue on now and carry this on.
Well, they've won 50% of their matches when they've been leading at half-time, so you'd have to say they're certainly going to go on with it.
Been a great quarter for them. 5 goals already.
33 kicks, 11 handballs for 44 possessions in this quarter by the Demons. Williams tries to impose his will on the game. McDonald brushed the tackle, got the kick away. Can he get there before the boundary looms up, Charles? Yes, he can. Little chip kick.
Oh, just let himself down with the kick there. The pace then, like we've said, Dermy said earlier in the game, Mackay's pace over the first few metres is fantastic, but he just can't go with Charles. He just took off.
The one good sign there for Melbourne, even though the kick missed the target, there were 4 Melbourne players there for it.
There was 2 leading options from the Charles kick as well.
Schwartz barging through the pack. Viney gets the hand pass over the top. Phoebe, little toe poke out by the Carlton defence. Koutafidis clears his defensive 50. Takes a bounce, hand pass over to DiIulio. He's grabbed. Melbourne fierce. Carlton trying to get back. Seacamp bangs it back towards Dean.
Wasted kick there.
He's got 2 to beat. Great tackle, Schwartz. Ball spills over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in.
Did very well then, Deany, didn't he, to think that one out. He knew that if he just handballed over his head going with the momentum, he wouldn't get pinged. 2 on 1. One bloke was still on his feet. Opposition, get rid of the ball.
Schwartz has gone up another cog for the last few weeks. He's been terrific this last few minutes.
Dean socks down.
Oh.
See, he almost undid all that. That tired drive I went through.
88.3% effectiveness, 3 marks, and total of 12 possessions. So he's been good. He's solid, Peter Dean.
25.5 minutes gone in the third quarter. Viney gets the hand pass off to Phoebe. He's at 45. It's a high kick. Charles is advancing, but Manton going back with a flight took a courageous mark.
Camporelli's on if they move it. No, 50 metres.
Yeah, that's a good decision by the umpire there. He obviously wanted to play on. He wanted to get away, but Charles held him up, retarding his progress. So, yeah, good decision by Chris Mitchell. Gee, it's a packed forward line for Melbourne. I mean, the Carlton defenders have run down to make space, but all they've done is just congest the half-forward line. Unless this is a set play and they have players running away from the congestion.
Allen got the short kick. Kernahan the fly. Man in front is Schwartz.
He'd follow Peter Dean down. Dean's right in the pocket and he stood in front.
Exactly, Ned. As we said, they just followed them down and it works against Carlton.
Charles goes streaming out and went over his head. He might be first to recover. He's got 3 to beat. Well done, Mackay. Gave it to Sexton. Ball went out of bounds. Well, that was probably about the best result that Melbourne could have hoped for there.
Yeah, they didn't have much to kick to if they'd got it.
Very important this last in time on here that Melbourne don't let Carlton score. It doesn't matter if they score or not, just as long as Carlton don't.
Steins all alone to Glenn Lovett.
Well done,
Williams sweating on him. O'Sullivan to Dean, to Anstey, to O'Sullivan, to Williams. Brushes the tackle. Mackay. Wobbly kick. Koutafidis, one hand. Fell over. The D's can bring it out of defence and do. They'll be looking for the boundary.
They want it to go out.
Hickmott charging after it, gets there. Good chase by Sean Smith, got there late. Now a chance for Melbourne to bang it back in.
Who's
McDonald. Manton didn't have eyes for the footy. Uze did well in the end. He's got a man on, Glenn Lovett. He's all alone. He can mark and play on. He will, and the D's get another one.
And he is nailed after his kick that. You'll get another kick. If it's not a goal, it's a goal.
Just a hard decision to make there, isn't he? Saw he had a bit of space and he knew if he was going to take the mark and go back and kick it, he was on a huge angle, but took the player on and got hit after the ball, but put it through. It's a great effort. And
Ned, I always found if you can't get courage when there's a goal at the end of the prize, you'll never get it.
Stephen Kernahan's actually been moved down to the goal square alongside Stephen Silvani, with Lance Whitnell being placed at centre half forward.
big forward line, isn't it, John?
Certainly is. There's not many crummers around.
Well, Dermot, we mentioned at the start of the quarter about that 3-goal fact for Carlton. They've only kicked 2 goals in this quarter.
Well, Melbourne are the team that you'd think, given the recent history, would fall away, but have they lifted?
It's the first time over 100 points, I think, isn't it, Peter?
Yes, it is. Steins, left foot kick. Sexton, courage.
See, that's the same. Well, Schwartzy then did exactly the same as Matty Allen. It no real eyes for the ball. Didn't make contact there. Not the bravest thing to do.
Seacamp just spurted. He got that extra metre and got to the contest first.
He's been
probably,
good.
Yeah, he's probably been the best defender on the ground, Seacamp.
Schwartz, Glenn Lovett, accidentally tripped. Anstey will head to the boundary.
Having said all those things, Ned, you and I used to commit those things week in, week out and say to people, what are you telling us off for?
I was just about to say, actually, Dermot, it's not the pot calling the kettle black, you bloke saying that.
Mate, I know I was a shocker at it. Don't worry. It's just see it, call it as it happens from this side of the line.
Previous highest score for Melbourne, 92 against Richmond when they scored that surprise victory in round 10. Ball bounces for Hopgood. His hand pass was a good one to Newton. Woden off his favoured left foot. Not a great kick. Manton dropped the mark.
They're besieged, Carlton defenders at the moment. They're working it around. They're having 3 or 4 disposals inside their defensive 50 each time they get the play of the ball.
Dean switches play. Koutafidis, mark or free kick.
Clarkson actually was caught out on Koutafidis and I mean, it was a huge height difference there.
He can go short to O'Sullivan. Little dinky kick. Off the left, he passes to Hickmott, who's all alone at 50. Plays on, runs to 40. Can Carlton get one back? Yes, they can.
Yes, that was a good goal by Hickmott. I actually thought it was going to miss from my point of view, but it just swung around the last minute and snuck through for a goal. But there was 2 players all alone there in that forward pocket, and it was just a matter of the ball getting down there quick enough before they were manned up.
Greg Hutchinson must have done great work with these boys, getting their motivation up. You see Justin Charles chase the length of the ground here, and watch this. He's actually dived for the boot. He didn't make it, but to get Justin Charles even 10 weeks ago to run the length of the ground and try and dive and smother Sean Charles, I said Justin Charles from Richmond, to dive onto somebody's boot just wasn't in his repertoire.
Well, he didn't do it last week at all, so it's good to see him doing it.
Now, can Carlton get another late one, and that would put their momentum right up? Oh, DiIulio nearly cleaned up by his skipper Kernahan, who was advancing. O'Sullivan's handball not good. Steins mops it up. The Melbourne members stand and cheer, and they're going to take a 21-point lead into the last quarter. Last year here at the MCG, remember, it was 49 points the difference at 3-quarter time in Melbourne's favour. Carlton came back, got to within a point. Melbourne drew away again and won by 19. We are set for a ripper, Derm.
Fantastic game and a brilliant last quarter coming up. We're going to take a break here at the MCG, where we see Melbourne leading 16-8, 104 to Carlton 13-5, 83.
Certainly need some crummers up there, as Mickey McGuan said, in their forward line.
66% of their matches they've won when leading at 3-quarter time. Not a bad stat when you're 21 points ahead at the final bounce.
Whitnell's on for Carlton. Williams takes the tap. Woden dives on top of it. Viney shoots it out. Williams, was he held without it? He's telling the umpire he was. He's going to give him an absolute earful here.
From where I was, it looked like he was. Certainly not a happy man, Diesel.
He's been very professional, Diesel, today, hasn't he? He's gone about everything in a methodical manner and put everything to the benefit of his team.
Steve McBurney bangs it down. Allen perhaps the tap. It's wrapped up again. It is interesting to note, as Diesel and Steinsy get acquainted, that in their last 8 games, Dermot, Carlton has won the final quarter only once. So they've lost 7 final quarters, and the time that they won it was against St Kilda when they lost the game. Steins. Free kick plucked out.
I think they're squaring up here. Well, we're good at Diesel.
Diesel didn't talk the umpire into that one, did he, Ned?
That's a good kick.
That is a great kick. Oh.
Silvani was carried forward. Umpire said he was taken high.
You can't do anything there, can you, Jeremy? I mean, Ingerson's got to go for the spoil. If he does that, he's going to push him in the back. If not, he's going to mark it. We've seen it twice today, haven't we?
Well, look, the target zone, and Johnny playing a lot more footy than Ned and I at full forward. When they kick the ball and it's going to hit you in the kneecap, that's the ideal spot for the full forward. I mean, it just leaves no room for the fullback to punch it away.
Yeah, he really had no choice then, Ingo, but to try and make a good spoil. He's kicked that one against Silvani.
That's his fourth.
He's been good value, Silvani, after Ingerson was on top of him early. After the initial first goal that Silvani kicked, Ingerson was on top of him up until halfway through the second quarter, but he's been good value since. Certainly has, and
that's what I mean. I just wonder if you took him away from the full forward area, have they got anyone else? I mean, Sticks is Neitz is going to shadow Sticks, and I just wonder if Melbourne can somehow try and drag him away from the full forward area.
Yeah, look, Sticks at full forward. He doesn't lead very quick. Silvani is ragged and gets out there on the lead, where Kernahan leads quite slowly and gives his opposition player a chance.
Carlton about to come forward again. Diesel got one at the back of the head. Umpire's going to find a free kick to him. Only 4 free kicks have been paid in the attacking 50 in this game, and Carlton has received every one of those 4.
Well, the stat that we've just got, if Carlton are to win this game, they have to kick the most goals, the highest score they've kicked for the whole year to do so.
Camporelli. Silvani again. Here come the Blues.
That was a good example, Dermot, of what you said before. As a full forward, you certainly would rather ball bouncing a little bit in front of you, perhaps, so you can make up a yard to try and mark it. If it's kicked up in the air a little bit, it makes it very easy for the defender to come over the top and punch it, but especially for a bloke like Silvani, who's so athletic on the ground.
Yeah, if you just make it and your opponent's behind you, he's got no hope.
Exactly right.
This for number 5.
Pokes at it.
Push over the top of the... Yeah, just went over the top of the post. It's interesting then, Uzo tried to get back to fill up the gap, but kept watching Silvani instead of turning around and watching the ball. The other Melbourne players have to help.
See how Melbourne react to the pressure here. They're under a bit of fire now.
Ingerson got the kick out and got the quick kick away. Steins, good hands. Looping hand pass. Woden stalls it. Hand passes into space to the run of Brett Lovett. Oh. Brett Lovett, a long handball to Phoebe. He chips it towards Charles, who has to stand underneath it. And a good defensive mark by DiIulio.
Bad kick.
Yes, it was a bad kick. Probably should have been up in the air a little bit towards David Schwartz.
Williams in space. Can move it on to Sexton, who's run for him. On the wing.
Piercy got dumped behind play.
Yep, Obbs just pushed him over.
Kernahan spoiled. Pearce. Whitnell on for his first run. Obbs bats it to Viney. Gets rid of it. Heads to the boundary. Ball still in play. Viney dives on it though.
It was well done by Todd Viney.
How desperate can he be at times? Look at that. He probably thought gave up a little bit easy then in the start. He thought the ball was going over the boundary. You'd never question his intent and what he was trying to do for the club. He probably thought, time to take a bit of a break, because he's 100% at it most of the time, or nearly all the time.
Bounce favoured Bradley, who whacks it away. Clarkson first to it.
That's holding the ball. That's a bad decision by the umpire. That should be kicking Carlton's way forward now.
He's got it between his legs, mate.
He's got it between them, but he's pulled it in there, Ned.
Peter Dean actually running off David Schwartz now, and it's a bit of a battle of the wills.
And he hasn't gone with him. That's what's so dangerous. Look where Peter is now at the moment. He's right in the middle of the ground.
Yet if Melbourne win it, Schwartz is by himself.
And that's
and
what's
they
going
do.
to happen. Go short.
Yep.
And then go long.
Woden to Schwartz, who marks at 40.
Now Newton has to run in here, and they outnumber them. He's taking too long.
Uze's run for him. Schwartz has a shot at the goals. Oh, that makes them pay.
Well, that was very interesting then. I mean, Peter Dean ran off David Schwartz and actually backed himself in. As I called it, was a bit of a battle of the wills. Who was going to give in? Schwartz decided to stay. And fortunately for Melbourne, Melbourne won it on the boundary throw-in. And Schwartz was by himself with Peter Dean up in the Carlton forward line.
Yeah, he's not really willing to run over and just body language say that isn't going to happen again, Dean. He's just wandering around, and the runner's out to him already. The runner's out to him straight away.
It's a funny game though, Dermot, isn't it? I mean, if Carlton had won that one and Deaning would have kicked the goal and made Schwartz look bad.
Yeah, but it's 50-50 football. I just like to see the contest, horse.
Yeah, fair enough.
Steins took it out of the ruck, and Williams was there straight away to wrap him up. Quick kick away by Brett Lovett. Smith in front. Woden charging at the footy. Well tackled by Manton.
That was a superb tackle by Glenn Manton. It was well done by Woden as well.
We've already seen some good tackles in this round. Tim McGrath last night comes to mind, but that was a beauty by Manton. Bradley bangs it up towards Kernahan. Free kick, go to Melbourne.
He played in front there.
He did. He held his ground too and didn't let himself get nudged under it like we've seen a couple of times today.
Phoebe's on out wide.
All by himself. He's 40 metres in the clear, Stephen Phoebe.
He just lost Cambriale in the traffic in the middle of the ground and he had no idea where he was. Good lead, good kick.
Schwartz nearly had enough of it to claim it. Sexton had it a long time. Schwartz,
Good body work
up.
by Schwartz.
Terrific body work by the big man. Hopgood. Phoebe. Steadies at 50. Chips it short to Charles.
Yes, that all. I think that David was obviously very disappointed at dropping that mark. It was certainly a very good kick to him. He certainly responded very well to that by getting up and laying a bit of a shepherd on a Carlton opponent, creating space, which is what he's designed for in that forward line.
Well, panic stations for Carlton. Murphy's getting set to come on. Pearce is just about to come off, and they've gone on and off 3 times before they finally made the move. They don't know what they're doing.
He's hobbling a bit, Pearce. Looks like he's either his chronic knee still sore as he kicked it.
No,
It's a point.
to the near side, yeah, and Cambriale for letting Phoebe get lost him in the traffic. He's been taken off as well, and Anstey going back on. But look, Melbourne are doing so well through the middle of the ground. I know Williams has been good for Carlton, but we've also got Lovett's had 22 possessions, Viney 21. Those guys are just keep getting the ball.
Williams took the short kick out from Dean.
Pretty popular, Diesel, isn't he?
See, a stat like this is just a bit of fill, really. It's not really winning the ball in the centre of the ground where Diesel's best value is.
Good spoil by Sean Smith. McKay first to it. Steins made him work. McKay did well in the end, bounced it. Glenn Lovett front spot. Good mark.
He's been superb today.
Yeah, David Schwartz was on by himself in the middle of the ground then, and Glenn unfortunately took a little bit too much time to get it on.
Good decision there, though. If it had got turned over, it was right in the corridor, though, for Carlton to take it back.
Glenn Lovett pinched a couple of extra metres. Hopgood pounces on it. McDonald can run down.
If they kick this, they will run all the way home and run all over Carlton.
Got a terrible bounce, but he had the presence of mind to give it to Brett Lovett. Kicks from 48 metres. It's home. And so might the Demons be.
Yeah, a good kick from Brett Lovett then. Had Jimmy Steins on short, but backed himself in. It was a very good kick.
Well, this will be a true indication of just how good these kids can be from Melbourne. They've just been kicked in the butt, so to speak, from pillar to post for the whole year. And this will just show us that with a bit of confidence and a belief that they can win a game, suddenly their backline players will start running. We saw 3 players come down in a wave then. Obst was at the back, Phoebe, McDonald, and it just shows you that with a bit of confidence, these boys can win or pinch a few more games this year.
Melbourne has averaged 13 points a quarter in the last quarter. They've already kicked that. They've kicked 13 points so far. Can they roll it on? 10 goals on the run. 8 from set shots. Melbourne 18-9. Carlton 14-6. It's a 27-point ball game at the MCG. Stein's tap went to Ratton, but Viney, as usual, he's a terrier. And he won the ball with sheer persistence again. Coming across the front, Uze. Newton off a step, went straight up in the air. Hickmott. Not a great kick, but it ends with Williams. Hogg did well, bent down, picked it up, threw it on the shoe. Clarkson. Taken high by Kernahan. Neats. Lux a fortune.
Off the side of the boot, and it's going straight to 2 Melbourne players.
They've got to work out who's going to get it. Obst. Little chip pass to
Lovett's on again. Williams hasn't chased him.
Lovett.
Oh, Smith's on. Get it to him.
Glenn Lovett tries to get to Smith. Williams back in the hole. Got a free kick.
Yeah, you called it right, Dermot. It was just a little bit low, the kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he was just standing there. His man ran away from him and to try and help out Williams.
Koutafidis at half back. Kicks over the centre circle. Good spoil by Neats on Kernahan.
Good effort, Sticks.
Phoebe's there. Looks for Charles. Ball punched away by DiIulio. Taken by Sexton. Williams didn't get it the first time. Might be costly. McDonald. Well done. Beat about 3 of them. Smith quick hands to Woden to Brett Lovett. Little chip kick. Schwartz leads Dean. Carried him forward. They've been paying that all day and they didn't pay that one. On the wing. Punch from behind by Clarkson. He's got to beat Anstey. He finds the boundary.
Well, Derby, if you'd spent $1 today at the sports book on this game, you would have got $4.25 back if Melbourne wins, so it wouldn't have been a bad investment.
That's providing you back Melbourne, Craig.
Yeah, I did. I backed them at the start of the day. And the footy tipping.
And then if you spent $1 and backed them by over 39.5, which they haven't done yet, they were $25. Hopgood bouncing, running his way up to half forward. Unloads a long one. It goes to the back of the pack. DiIulio's going back there and took a very good defensive mark.
That's a much better return than Joe Gutnick's getting at the moment in the gold market.
Dean has got Bradley all alone. He can go over the top if he wants to. Instead goes inboards. Takes a couple of bounces. Runs to the middle. Kicks towards Silvani. Hit his chest. He couldn't grab it. Falls at the feet of Seacamp, and he looks for the boundary and finds it, and the Melbourne members go up as one.
Dermy, it's interesting, Lance Whitnell, when he's playing, and when Marcus Seacamp is quite a mobile player, is playing on him, similar, probably a bit smaller in height, but Lance hasn't got the ability to turn around and sort of turn him inside out.
Yeah, he's just still learning the caper, isn't he?
He's a little bit two-dimensional at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 17 years old, so he's still learning the caper, but anybody who's that size at 17 years of age, it's going to suggest he's a big man, big fellow, and agility won't be his strong point. But Diesel Williams just chasing there. He's had 8 possessions already this quarter, but he's just not finding them right in the guts at the moment. If he gets them there, wins them from the centre bounce, Carlton could be back in business.
Viney, Hopgood, Brett Lovett combine, and they find Uze right on the wing. Hamill waiting to come on in front of him. Wobbly kick, and a good mark taken by Manton.
Look at Diesel work over the other side of the ground where it's going to go. Oh, no, not quite.
McKay, chip pass, Hickmott, Sexton. Carlton's got to get the next one if there are any hope of winning this. Kick wasn't a good one. Clarkson, plenty of time. It was left to Kernahan to do the chasing.
Good kick.
Newton dropped the mark. Sexton to Hickmott.
Just got very tired in the last quarter and a half, Newton.
Ratton wants to play it on and does. Backwards to Manton. Manton towards Kernahan. Neats nudged him out and took the mark.
Yeah, that's the Paul Roux special, that one. Your arm, when it's going up to mark the ball, accidentally nudges the player in front under the ball and out of the way.
That's a very dangerous spot to kick it, Dermot, I think, across the goals, isn't it?
Oh, you'd be holding your head in your hands if you were Hutchison at the moment, wouldn't you, Coach?
Chance for Carlton. McKay to Williams. Brett Lovett makes it difficult. Williams off the left foot, misses to the left.
It's been fascinating. I've just really focused on Greg Williams for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and he ran over to the other side of the ground. He watches the ball so carefully and just trying to sum up where it's going to go, and he puts himself in a magnificent position every time to just get the stats, to get the kicks and the handballs.
Well, there's still time for Carlton if they're good enough. They've got a tough run home. Oh, he's put it out of bounds. Now, Carlton have got Adelaide away next week, so it's a tough run in if they don't win in 3 weeks' time. That's when they play Adelaide. It's a tough run home for Carlton if they drop this one. Newton's coming off as well. Hamill's going back on.
Essendon here next week. North Melbourne at Optus Oval. Adelaide at Football Park. Collingwood at the MCG to come for the Blues. They're 7-7, and they might be 7-8 in about 15 minutes' time.
Steve Silvani was on then just a short kick inside, and he didn't want to know about it, Diesel.
I reckon he just rubbed the ball on the ground there because he loves those people hanging over the fence just abusing him.
He's a very good kick, Diesel Williams. He might just give himself a bit of an angle here. Bad kick.
Koutafidis.
It's a sharp angle unless Kuta dishes off here.
Hickmott made position.
Yep, I always thought Kuta would dish off then because he's not a good set shot directly in front.
That go the required distance net, did it?
Well, I mean, I think that's what the big Irishman's having a bit of a say about, and
Hickmott.
Can they keep their hopes alive? Hickmott,
missed it.
Terrible.
He's a very good kick as a rule, Hickmott, so that's a real indication of the way Carlton are going.
That's a netter kick, that one. That's a shocker. Can't believe that.
It looks like it might be destined to be Melbourne's day. 27,992 people here.
And the weight of numbers comes over to this side with Melbourne. You'll see them come into screen here. Little kick there, but the weight of numbers is going to be with them when it goes forward. Well, caught behind.
Neitz made the effort, but McKay had front spot.
Well done by Neitz to hold him up then. It gives the Melbourne players a chance to run back now.
Hickmott.
All alone in the
on.
centre. Hogg, 60 metres out, too far for him.
Silvani.
Kicked it high, didn't give Silvani much of a chance, gave Ingerson a good chance to spoil. Glenn Lovett out to McDonald. Spreads it wide to Obst. Be careful. Clarkson, kick smothered. McDonald has to run. Hogg, good effort. Toe poke to Kernahan. To Murphy. Beats 3 players. Off a step from 40 metres. And that bounces straight up in the air over the goal umpire's head, through for a behind.
Well, Dermy, they've really, I mean, we saw the numbers weighted over towards your side when they got their first kick in after the point. They should have just kicked out long there and perhaps even forced it over the boundary. Yeah, really, they're just stuffing around with the ball at the moment.
Yeah, you've got to give when you get weight of numbers, you've got to put the ball in the air for a while and let all the numbers get to the fall of the ball. You'll eventually win it. If you snap kick it forward and it turns end over end, the man in front, no matter how many numbers, is going to win the ball.
Glenn Lovett marks at his defensive 50. Southern stand side of the ground.
It's a better move.
Big pack. Ball to the deck. McDonald taken high. He was ducking though. Brett Lovett charges through. He wanted it more than anyone else. Woden's on the bottom of the pack.
And Gergich's gone on to centre half forward where Newton's come off. He looked really fatigued there for a while, Horse.
Yeah, he was really starting to struggle, I think, that last quarter, as you called earlier on, and they just brought some fresh legs onto the ground.
And he is quick, Gergich. He might run around a little bit too much for Sexton.
Camporelli getting ready for Carlton. Steins was placed in a headlock by Bradley. Umpire said, I'll toss it up.
This will really suit Melbourne now. I mean, they don't want to play pretty football for the final 15 minutes. This will suit them down on the ground, I imagine.
Brett Lovett, who's been on Greg Williams, has had 11 kicks, 14 handballs and 7 marks, so certainly done the job.
24 points the difference. Melbourne looking for its 3rd win. Bradley to Williams. Off the left, brilliant pass to Murphy. Hits him on the chest at 60. He's a long kick.
Sullivan running on.
Headed towards him. Silvani got a cruel bounce. Kernahan was held without it. Glenn Lovett. Oh, look at the space here. Hopgood can run.
Uze's on.
Just
finds him.
Sorry, guys. Sauce has got a bit angry with Ingerson behind play. I love this stuff.
Uze goes short. Oh, gee. Gergic. Anstey put the pressure on him.
He's just got to get the Schwartz to come down now and just bomb it right on his head. Oh. Telegraph.
Well, you're right, Ned. They're messing around with their possessions here, and they don't want to give Carlton a sniff. Melbourne. Williams to Hogg. He can run.
He'll run away.
Takes a bounce. Runs to 45 metres. Not a good kick. Silvani marks it though.
You were mentioning earlier on, Dermot, about those short kicks inside going towards bringing the ball in too early, and that was a good example of it. It can be a 2-goal turnaround. It's a goal you miss out on, a goal that the opposition side gets.
Look, there wouldn't be a team that is placed in the top 4 sides that would not have definitely scored a goal from that passage forward that Melbourne had then.
Silvani to keep the Blues' hopes alive, and he lets Ingerson know all about it.
Sauce has got one, and like I said, around the head a little bit earlier, and he was very happy to show Ingerson what happens. Kicks a goal, and it's an ugly-looking kick here from Hogg. You see him running down the midfield here, and probably just not balancing, and then just floating forward, and Steve's picking up very quickly and let him know about it. Had a few words to say then.
Just the quicker to turn around and watch which direction the ball was coming in from. Yeah, good play.
5 goals to Sauce. If Carlton gets the next one, the game is back alight. We're at the 20-minute mark of the last quarter. The difference, as you can see, is 18 points. Sports AFL's live coverage from the MCG. Melbourne go forward through Hopgood to the pocket. And can a young fellow make amends for his mistake before?
Yes, Gergic just caught his opponent, Sexton. I think he mentioned it before, Dermot, about perhaps being a little bit of a mismatch. He's pretty quick, Gergic, on the lead, and Sexton was left a little bit flat-footed.
He went forward a few weeks ago and did quite well.
Yeah, he took one. Yeah, he kicked the last goal they kicked last week before they fell in a hole, and after a good lead as a full forward.
Kick goes to the left. Oh, there's a mark. Schwartz has taken it.
That was a great mark by Schwartz. I thought he was right out of that contest.
Well, really, Peter Dean's the only other big man down there, and all the other guys for Carlton are small men. We look at him, Manton's just coming into screen now. He wasn't in the contest. Peter Dean's the only other big man, and Peter Dean, as we say, he has a lion heart. He's a fantastic contributor. He just always has a go, but legitimately, he's like a pumped-up flanker. He's about a 6'1½".
He'd probably be giving away about 15 kilos to David Schwartz too, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. He's a big flanker, Peter Dean, and struggles against the really big key position players.
Tell you, I'd try Lance Whitnall down back just for a few games, just to get him used to running straight lines and get some fitness and everything else, because I just think he'd be quite good.
Now Schwartz is very good in this situation. He has a kick at the goals.
He's missed. I think he might have missed that. He might have been better off trying to run around and bend that around a little bit.
Yeah, what you've got to do in that situation for a bloke who's not quick off the mark like that, once he runs around, the guys were ready to pounce on him. He's got to go back an extra 10, get into a jog, and then by the time before he runs around, get into a sprint. So it's very difficult for the others to converge on him.
Koutafidis, what a leap from the back. Couldn't grab it. Clarkson. Viney.
Oh, Charles out wide.
Charles and Schwartz by himself.
Hooks it across his body to Charles. Picks it up, gives it to Glenn Lovett. He kicks off the left towards Schwartz again.
Well done, Deanie.
Ball spills out of bounds. That last behind Durham was the proverbial important point. Made it 19 points the difference, so Carlton need to score 4 times.
Oh, what dare we say, a valuable point.
Demons heading towards their 3rd victory of the year.
Look at the size difference between Dean and Schwartz there. It's enormous.
Schwartz went up. Charles is in the pack. Allen sits on him. Umpire comes in to bounce.
Yeah, he certainly is a credit to himself, Peter Dean, because he does normally play on opponents that are a lot bigger than him, and he does do a very good job at that.
And has done it for a decade or more.
Only 15 metres out from the Melbourne goal. 18-10 to 15-9.
Sean Smith held behind play then.
Hickmott.
Oh, it's dangerous, Hickmott.
Charles burrowing in. Anyone able to get a kick away? Schwartz dancing around the pack. Viney tries to bust the tackle. No chance there.
Well, if one bloke wanted it on your side and you were going for Melbourne, you'd want it in the hands of Viney then to try and get into a little bit of space to get a boot onto it.
Gergic showing maturity for a young kid. Just drops back a kick behind the play if there's a quick kick out. 20 metres out. Stein's got the tap. Woden dives on it. I'll be happy with this.
Yeah, Dean hurt himself then.
Yes, he did. Actually, this suits Melbourne because it doesn't matter how crowded the forward line is. You really go the opposite in this situation. You try and crowd the forward line as much as you can and try to make as many mini contests as possible.
They're doing just that. Here we go. 3rd bounce. Stein's a terrific tap. Snapped by Pyman, went straight up in the air, and Dean smacks it through for a behind. Let's go down to Andrew Marr, who's down amongst the thick of the action, and the Melbourne cheer squad.
I'm right down the middle of the Melbourne cheer squad here, Peter, and I'm joined by a bloke called Peter, and this must be a great moment for you.
Fantastic. The boys have played so well today. They've shown a bit of promise in the first half of the last couple of weeks, but this is the first time they've really put it together. But
how tough's it been for you to live through the sort of despair of the season so far?
I've been barracking from since 1958, so you learn to be on the end of the 20-goal defeats, and you really take the victories when they come and you really enjoy them. But supporters are supporters. They come week in, week out.
Aaron, Peter, back to you, Dean.
Thanks for that. Aaron Hamill with the ball going forward from the half-forward flank. Found Murphy.
He kicks from 55. It's a long one. Silvani getting the body in front. But a good contest by both Ingerson and Brett Lovett, and it's through for a behind, and the applause comes from the Melbourne cheer squad and the Melbourne members.
Phoebe kicking out. I don't think Clarkson will be kicking out again for the rest of today.
What do you think now, Ned? If you had the ball and you were kicking in after the point, hug the boundary with the long one?
I'd go out over to Obst, where he would be on for the next one here, or where Lovett is, which is going to be the outside 50 towards Jimmy Stein to the next kick to the left of screen there, just top left of screen.
There must be a spare man down there, Ned, somewhere, a Carlton player, because Robert Pyman's by himself on the wing.
Probably looks like Hamill at the moment.
Big fly by Murphy. There's Viney again. Hand pass went astray towards Murphy. Obst, like a little terrier, just follows him to the boundary line.
Good to see Andrew Obst still playing. Born the 19th of the 8th, 64. It's good to know that some blokes born on that day can still be playing football, Ned.
He had a great game last week. He was sensational that first half.
Yeah.
Not much happening in this pack. Brett Lovett tackled by Bradley. Umpire has a good look and says holding the ball. Fair enough.
Yeah, he wasn't duped into that one.
Now the numbers, Melbourne got to fill up the gaps.
Bradley's quick kick. Ingerson and Silvani. Good punch by Ingerson. Camporelli grabs it, gives it to Hogg. on the left, snaps across his body. 2 Melbourne defenders going back, and Ingerson marks on the line.
He's not going to move anywhere. He could have played on, but
Phoebe, Glenn Lovett.
Got a bit of confidence up the Melbourne boys.
Shepherd by Seacamp. Glenn Lovett, attention from Hamill as he kicks. Just mid in front.
Great hands.
I tell you what, with the running, the young guys getting a little bit of confidence up, running into a little bit of form. Sean Smith starting to take a grab or two.
Well, this is his 3rd week now, I think, so it normally takes 3 weeks or so to get the big guys back into it.
Yeah, for some, Ned.
Melbourne supporters just counting the clock down. Look at that desperation there by Glenn Lovett. The ball was over the boundary line. It was out on the full, but he was still diving after it.
Let me add for you, Ned, 4. You thought I was going to say something else?
Yeah.
Murphy, a huge leap. Steins grabs it. He's wrapped up. Hands and knees by Obbs. They're still desperate, the Demons. And there's the siren.
Oh, this is brilliant. Let's just watch the reaction here of Hutchie. That is fantastic. That's a brilliant win for Melbourne.
In the rooms at the start of the day, they were motivated. They were pumped to do well, and they've done very well. They've beaten Carlton, and they've scored their 3rd win of the season. And the theme song is sung very proudly around the famous MCG today.
Do you want me to sing it? Oh, no, not by heart.
Take a bow, Greg Hutchinson. He's done very well. He's motivated his boys today. 3rd win for the year.
The Demons have been on the verge of this for the last couple of weeks. It's their first 4-quarter performance for the year, I'd say, except for the one they beat us early on the year.
I tell you, I was at their club, Bentley Club, on Thursday night for club night, and I said to a few people there, they are absolutely pumped. The kids were fantastic. It was just a great feeling.
Let's go down to Andrew Marr, who has, in my opinion, the best man on the ground, Glenn Lovett, with him.
Thanks very much, Dermy. I'm down right in the middle of all the Melbourne blokes at the moment. Glenn, fantastic performance.
Oh, sensational. You know, we've been really flat the last couple of weeks, and we knew Carlton the last couple of years, and we've had a reasonable run against them, so we thought we were a chance.
Was that important for you going into the game today, knowing that you had done pretty well against these blokes?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've lacked confidence, you know, obviously with the injuries and the form we've had this year, but we really knew that we battled for 4 quarters, which we haven't done, but we'd give it a real shot. And
has it been a tough load for you blokes to carry with Barmy being sacked and just the despair about the racking up of defeats? Has it been a tough load for you, particularly the senior guys, to deal with?
It's never easy when you lose every week, and a few years ago we were used to playing finals and we pretty much expected it. Now we're just going to try and battle through and take a week at a time, the old cliche. So it has been tough, but we've just got to keep pushing on.
And I mean, this, obviously you hope that this won't be the last of the victories for the year, but the writing's been on the wall the last couple of weeks. Do you see that there's going to be a few more before the season's over?
Well, I mean, the win is the best thing for your confidence, and we know we've got 7 games left, and just to get our best shot every week, and hopefully we can come out with 3 or 4 more wins and set ourselves up for next year.
Good on you, mate. Well played. Enjoy that. Good on you, Glenn. Back to you, Derm.
Thanks, Andrew. Glenn Lovett there, in my opinion, best man on the ground, Ned. He was superb today, along with Viney once again. They were very, very good in the centre of the ground.
Well, both the Lovetts were terrific. Viney just stacked it up, and you have to take your hat off to Hopgood too on Bradley. He was terrific.
Yeah, he did. He tagged him and then ran off him and was quite attacking going the other way as well. We see the Melbourne people there. I mean, it just makes it a lot sweeter, doesn't it, when you see people who've been starved of success, starved of a chance to sing the theme song, and when they come home with a win, you get the hair stand up on the back of the neck. And we'll probably go into the rooms again here as we were at the start.
We've actually got the Demons next week, David, so it'll certainly be an interesting game next week for us.
The Northerners versus the Demons next week. Well, one team's on a winning roll there, Horse.
Yes, it's unfortunate they've managed to strike form just before they play us.
Let's have a look at them singing the theme song. It's a pretty special moment, and it's fantastic we can get the cameras in there, actually.
It's a grand old thing, it's a hot line, it's the emblem for you and for me. It's the emblem of the team we love, the team of the red and the blue. Every heart beats true for the red and the blue, as we sing yes, not true, that's what we sing. The road, the train, let's sing the song, keep your eye on the red and the blue.
Well, the Melbourne Footy Club there singing their theme song. Very, very happy, boys. 3rd win for the year. Finally running out winners 18-11, 119 to Carlton 15-10, 100.